This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Regular session meeting of the Easthampton Public School Committee. We are going to roll call in Mayor Salem Derby.
Present.
Bonnie Atkins. Present. Eric Gayette is our member who had a previous engagement that was very important. So he is not joining us tonight, but he is with us in spirit. Can you please all mute yourselves? Try to. Right here. Who is it?
Looks like it's done.
Got it. Okay. Megan Harvey.
I'm here, online.
Hello, Megan. Sam Hunter.
Here.
Linda Marquis.
Here.
Okay, because one of our members is joining us remotely, per usual, we'll be roll calling for every vote. So on that note, we're going to begin. Well, let me open by saying this. We have an unprecedented crowd with us tonight, both in person and online. So first of all, thank you all for joining in your care for the Easthampton Public Schools. We're interested to hear what you have to say. We're taking a bit of an unusual step this evening. We're going to do our public speak in just a few minutes. And then later in the meeting, Superintendent Balch is going to make a presentation that is going to outline more detail around the two possible outcomes following the June 9th override vote. So I've chosen to open a second public speak following the superintendent's presentation in case with that additional information that it has raised additional thoughts, comments, questions, or concerns from the public. We're going to ask people to keep to 3 minutes. However, we are here to extend grace. We understand that this is a difficult topic, so we will take your time, say what you need to say. There are tissues at the podium if necessary. We are not going to police. We just want to keep things moving along, so just take some care when you're speaking. Try to keep it as close to 3 minutes as you can. Okay, so with that, we're going to begin with this agenda. Try to get to our public speak as quickly as we can. We'll begin with this consent agenda. I will entertain a motion to approve the finance and other consent agenda items as written on the agenda.
I so move.
Thank you, Linda. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sam. We are going to roll call Mayor.
Yes.
Bonnie Atkins.
Here.
Megan Harvey.
Yes.
Sam Hunter.
Yes.
Linda Marquis.
Yes.
Laura Scott, yay. Okay, so the consent agenda passes. Moving on to announcements. We have a preschool gift from a family. Jill Piscina Torquia is requesting the acceptance of $500 from Jamie and Matthew Brailsford for the purpose of preschool program supplies. We appreciate their generosity. Please accept the Brailsford's kind and thoughtful donation to our school. That's incredible. Thank you so much for sharing what you have with us, especially our youngest learners. That's really thrilling and heartwarming. So I would entertain a motion to accept the $500 donation from Jamie and Matthew Brailsford for the purchase of preschool program supplies.
So moved.
Thank you, Sam. May I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bonnie. We're gonna roll call again. Mayor?
Yes, and thank you.
Bonnie?
Yes, thank you. They're incredible people.
Megan?
Yes, thank you.
Sam?
Yes.
Linda?
Yes, and thank you. These are the things that really make our community special.
That's right. And Chair Laura Scott, aye. Thank you very, very much. I hope to have the pleasure of meeting you, both of you soon. Perhaps you're here tonight or online? Don't know. No showcase. Okay. We are going to bypass our high school student representative update tonight. We have some more pressing issues, as Walter Baker has alluded to. Any thoughts you want to share, Walter, briefly?
No, I'm just interested to hear what is in the presentation.
Okay, thank you, Walter. Henry, would you like to share any of the hot happenings over at Mountain View?
The 24-hour track and field-a-thon Run for Rodriguez happened 3 p.m. May 24th to 25th, and it raised $10,505 for the Rodriguez family. The middle school band concert, which was Thursday, May 21st, happened, and it was really good. Good job. And then this week, the 8th grade is having a New York trip, Thursday to Friday.
Who's going on that trip, Henry?
Lots of 8th graders.
Do you know what you're doing yet?
We are going to Coney Island. And then the next day we're going to a 9/11 memorial and then a New York City food tour.
Wow, you're hitting all the marks. That's incredible. That's incredible. Oh, if everybody just wants to mute themselves at home. Okay.
On June 10th is 8th grade step up day. And then,
You're stepping up.
yep. This week the Civics Action Project is due and we're gonna present it tomorrow on May 27th. June 15th and 16th is field day for all grades. And on June 16th is the 8th grade semi-formal. June 18th is 8th grade continuation, and that is all.
You've got a busy month. Excellent. Wow, congratulations on your pending 8th grade graduation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I just want to take a second to send our love and support to the Rodriguez family and just really commend this community that again and again and again shows up for one another. We're incredibly moved, and our thoughts go out to their whole family. We are going to move on to round 1 of public comment. So we're going to begin with people who are here with us in the room. If you would maybe like to form a short line to the side, you'll come to the podium. You can just give your name, and address isn't required. You can give your name, share your thoughts, try to keep it to 3 minutes if possible. Once we've exhausted these folks who are in the room, then we can move to those folks who are joining us online. We are prepared to be here for a while. We want to hear from everyone, okay? No. Okay.
Good evening. My name is Kelly Rodriguez, and I'm the pre-K to 2 school psychologist at Mountain View School. At the most recent town council and school committee meetings, I spoke about the significant negative impacts our students and broader community would experience if the override does not pass, resulting in nearly $3 million in cuts to the school budget. Tonight, I would like to highlight some of the approximately 40 non-renewed staff members, as well as some other veteran educators who recently been laid off. Reduced staffing and programming will lead to larger class sizes, fewer support staff, fewer enrichment opportunities, and increased disruptions to daily instruction. Schools are a cornerstone of any community. When educational quality declines, families often choose to seek education elsewhere or relocate to communities with stronger school systems. Over time, this can result in decreased enrollment, fewer families moving into the area, more families leaving the area, and broader economic impacts, including declining property values and reduced community vitality. In preparation for tonight, I asked educators who were impacted to voluntarily share their professional stories, including what has been the most meaningful about their work in our district. And here are some of their stories. Callie Melanson has been an educator for over 16 years. She previously worked in the district at Maple and left briefly in 2022 and returned to work in Easthampton in 2024. She was awarded the Grinspoon Teaching Award during her time at Maple School. Kelly has been an Easthampton homeowner for 20 years and has 2 students in the public schools. Kelly has worked and supported students during COVID and has tirelessly worked to pass for the funding of our new school. She has been an active coach for town rec teams as well as school teams such as Girls on the Run, which I coached with her. Kelly stated, "What has always motivated me most is the connection with students and their families, and being part of a child's growth and educational journey is a privilege I will always cherish." Melissa Labar Rogers is completing her first year as a licensed special education teacher for the Bloom program at Mountain View School. Melissa previously served as a paraprofessional in the district for over 6 years and is widely regarded as an exceptional leader and educator. Melissa is an extraordinary relationship builder who meets students, families, and staff exactly where they are. Every child and staff member within Bloom feels safe, valued, validated because of the environment she creates. Additionally, Melissa is an Easthampton resident and 2 of her daughters attend Mountain View School. Kate Pruner is completing her 3rd year as a licensed teacher and student support interventionist at Mountain View School. She has been an educator in Easthampton since 2018. Kate is a resident of Easthampton, and her son currently attends Easthampton High School. She values both living and working in the community, noting that her role as a resident strengthens her ability to build meaningful connections with students across the district. Kate is especially committed to supporting students with social emotional needs, and Kate is especially committed to supporting students. Oh, sorry, I just said that. One of the most rewarding aspects of her work is witnessing student growth and seeing students develop and thrive over time. Staff respect and value Kate because she always puts the students' needs first and works collaboratively with home and school members with ease. Morgan Jones is a 14th-year veteran teacher and is completing her first year back in the district and is currently teaching in the special education program AIM at Mountain View School Middle School. Morgan previously worked as a special education teacher at Maple and a reading teacher at Center Pepin for over 9 years. Morgan takes immense pride in delivering high-quality reading, writing, and math instruction. She pushes both herself and her students to achieve their best while maintaining meaningful relationships and professionalism. When asked why Easthampton, she responded, "For me, the most impactful thing about being an educator in Easthampton is if you're in the district as long as I have been, you're able to see the extraordinary growth and development of your students." She will share just one of those detailed responses from a student later on. Marty Pompushis has been a school psychologist in this district for almost 3 years and 13 years total. Prior to that, she was a preschool educator for 13 years. She loved helping students with disabilities feel successful and to achieve independence. Colleagues describe Marty as an incredibly kind, knowledgeable, approachable, and wonderful advocate and support for families, teachers, and students. As a close colleague and friend, the weight of this override sits heavily on my own heart. Words do not do Marty justice for all she has done for our special ed team and as a collaborative evaluator for all the kids coming through special education. A couple more and then I'll switch. Elizabeth Ryan is an Easthampton resident who has been a speech language pathologist at Mountain View School for nearly 4 years and has 11 years of professional experience. She values interdisciplinary, child-centered, and neuro-affirming early childhood education. She has shared that one of the most meaningful aspects of her work is helping non-speaking students access communication through AAC systems and supporting families during their first experiences in public school, because she's in preschool. She is also a parent of 2 future Mountain View School students, and Kenny Eskew has been a board-certified behavioral analyst for 7 years and is finishing her first year in EHS and Mountain View School. Prior to that, Jess was a speech therapist for 10 years. 3 of Jess's children currently attend either Mountain View School or Easthampton School. Teachers have raved about Jess's professionalism, expertise, neuro-affirming student approach, and always putting forth the best practice for students' needs, despite the inherent flaws and fractures that might be in our system. When asked about her impact and why she wants to work in Easthampton, Jess stated, "Throughout my experience here, both as a parent and as an educator, I have witnessed educators and families embrace challenges with dedication and resilience. Adapting practices and approaches to better support neurodivergent learners is complex work and it requires self-awareness, flexibility, and a strong growth mindset. I have found that in our Easthampton community, and they are deeply committed to continuous learning, reflection, and growth."
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Leda Barman. I live in Northampton. I work as a speech language pathologist at Mountain View School, and I'm going to pick up where Kelly left off. Carrie Guyette has been teaching at MVS for 2 years and has been an educator for over 21 years. As a lifelong resident of Easthampton, it has been a privilege to attend and work in the community that made her the educator she is today, she says. Additionally, she has been an educator for over 21 years and has 2 children attending Mountain View School. She attended Easthampton Public Schools and graduated from Easthampton High School in 2000. Currently, her 2 kids attend Mountain View School. Brandon Goulet is currently finishing his 7th year as an educator in MVS with grades 5 to 8. After completing student teaching in Easthampton Public Schools in 2017, Brandon chose to join the district because of its strong music program, leaving another district to become part of the music team. Over the past 7 years, they have served as a general music and choral director before transitioning into the band's position. They value the district's commitment to music education and believe it plays an essential role in students' emotional growth, sense of belonging, and overall middle school experience. When asked what is most impactful, Brandon stated, "To me, it is sharing the passion of music and making connections with those students. Being able to see students grow musically makes me enjoy coming into work every day." Alex Raffo is an Easthampton resident and has been an occupational therapist in this district for almost 3 years. This is her 6th year as a school-based occupational therapist. Alex loves working in this district. She believes the educators, paraeducators, and specialists in the district provide the necessary support to meet all learners' individual needs. Jesse Clark is an Easthampton resident and is currently in his 3rd year of teaching at Mountain View School. He's a 3rd grade teacher and an asset on his team. Prior to that, he worked as a paraeducator at Maple School. He said the most impactful part of working in this district is the ability to build strong relationships with other teachers and students. Jen Oliver, fondly called Ollie, is currently finishing her second year as a math interventionist for grades 5 to 8 at MBS. Ollie and her family have lived in town for 20 years and intentionally built a life there because of its unique, vibrant, and welcoming community. She values the safe, walkable environment and the opportunities it provides for their child to grow up connected to parks and diverse friendships. With 22 years of experience working in schools, they chose to leave another job to teach at MBS and became a more engaged member of the community they deeply care about preserving. Ollie's impact extends beyond students. However, her greatest impact is helping to close achievement gaps. Megan Smith, a first-year life skills teacher at Easthampton High School and an Easthampton resident, is recognized for her dedication to creating meaningful educational experiences for students with disabilities. Her colleague, Dr. Perlmutter, shared, "She is passionate about her students learning and feeling included in their school community. She holds students with disabilities accountable and ensures they have a meaningful high school experience." Committed to serving her own community, Megan left a tenured position in a district she valued to help develop a new life skills program at Easthampton High School. She had been a teacher for 15 years. Despite understanding the risks associated with leaving a position with professional status, she chose to invest in a program that would directly benefit local students and families, including her own daughter's future school community. Megan shared that the most rewarding aspect of her work is the opportunity to create and implement programs that allow students to remain, learn, and thrive within their home district rather than being placed outside the community. Emily Manning is finishing her first year back in Easthampton schools as the special education teacher for Mountain View School full-time preschool class. She has taught preschool for 11 years and had previously taught for 2 years at Maple School before the COVID layoffs. One of the most rewarding aspects of teaching in this district has been collaborating with students, families, and multidisciplinary teams in a supportive environment. Working in preschool special education has allowed me to build strong family relationships while helping students make meaningful academic, social, and emotional growth during a critical stage of development. Erin Ferris is finishing her first year at Easthampton High School as a special education teacher. Since beginning their teaching career in 2010, primarily in higher education, they served as a tenured professor in Tennessee before moving to Massachusetts in 2021. Their work at EHS has profoundly deepened their understanding of connection and student support, particularly through working with vulnerable students. They are known for creating a safe, welcoming environment where students feel supported both academically and emotionally. Many students regularly seek out their classroom before school, during lunch, and throughout the day because it provides a sense of belonging, trust, and stability. Ann Talley is finishing her third year as a 5th to 8th grade health teacher at MBS. Ann is an Easthampton resident, has 2 daughters in these schools, and knows many families in this community from time working for the health department and leadership in the PTO. Her care and passion for this community is deep-rooted. When asked about what she loves about working here, she said, "Teaching our adolescents about healthy decision-making, mental, emotional, and physical health, and how to take care of themselves to lead healthy, productive lives in the future." Jamie Flamati has been working almost 2 years as a speech therapist at MBS. She has over 32 years of speech therapy experience. Jamie loves supporting our most vulnerable students in developing functional communication skills that help them express their knowledge, participate alongside peers, build relationships, and advocate for their needs, essential skills for lifelong independence and success. Jillian Keenan has served as a librarian educator in the district for 5 years. She helped establish both the elementary and middle school libraries and is focused on fostering a love of reading, critical thinking, and cultural representation in literature. She has expressed concern about the potential reduction of librarian roles and will miss watching her students foster a love of reading and learning.
Hi, my name is Jessica Kenny Askew. I'm a resident of Chicopee and the BCBA for Easthampton Public Schools. Lindsay Hall is finishing her second year at MVS as a special education team leader and has been teaching in various districts for over 23 years. When asked about why Easthampton and what she loves, she stated, "Coordinating IEP meetings with families in this community has been deeply rewarding. The staff at MVS are welcoming, collaborative, and dedicated to student-centered problem solving. Their strong teamwork and commitment to including family perspective in every IEP meeting has made this unlikely any experience in their teaching career." Christopher Weeks is finishing his 3rd year at MVS and has been teaching for over 11 years. For Chris, the most impactful aspect of his work has been witnessing students' growth and development over time. Chris has supported some current students since serving as long-term substitute in 3rd grade and has seen them progress from foundational skills such as struggling with basic multiplication and complete sentences to more advanced academics like dividing fractions and revising multi-paragraph essays. Chris is constantly impressed by the dedication of both students and staff at MVS and considers it an honor to observe and support this steady, meaningful progress. Nina Foley is finishing her 1st year at MVS as a speech therapist. She has been an SLP for over 26 years and has spent the last 16 years working in schools. When asked why Easthampton was what is greatest impact on students, she responded, "I appreciate the vibrant community, supporting children's growth and communication skills, as well as collaborating with amazing supportive staff and teachers." Carly Knowles is a 2nd-year nurse at MVS. Carly has been a nurse for 15 years, 9 of those as a pediatric ICU nurse. She has been at MVS for 2 years. She has also coached for youth cheer program in town. School nurses play a vital role in supporting the health, safety, and well-being of students, fostering a caring environment where every child can thrive academically and emotionally. Amanda Fragametti, sorry Amanda if I screwed that up, is a 1st-year 1st grade teacher at MVS. She is a resident of Easthampton with 3 children, 2 of which are currently attending MVS. Amanda shared that the most impactful aspect of working at MVS has been the strong sense of community and teamwork. While she's already valued the school as a parent, joining the staff gave them a deeper appreciation for the supportive culture, collaboration among colleagues, and willingness of staff members to help one another despite the school's large size. Amanda chose to become a teacher later in life in search of more meaningful work and inspired by daily children's curiosity, enthusiasm, and eagerness to learn. Roxanne Dory is finishing her 2nd year at MVS as an ELL teacher. Roxanne has described her teaching and reading specialist experience. She expresses a strong commitment to MVS, commuting 40 minutes each way to work with its students and staff. With a background as a certified reading specialist and ESL educator, Roxanne can demonstrate strong student outcomes. 2nd grade teacher Bethany Hodgman stated, "This year, my ELL students have made tremendous growth, and this directly attributes to Roxanne's competency as a high-skilled reading teacher and her confident approach in working with a wide range of diverse leaders." When asked what is most impactful for her, Roxanne noted, "Giving my students the opportunity to make accelerated progress in speaking, reading, and writing, and helping to boost their self-confidence as learners and as people. I love working with the ELs, and having come from a family of immigrants, I can relate to the experience of being marginalized. My hope and dream for each child I work with is to shine bright in this world." Sarah Fergalak is a 1st-year educator at MVS and has over 20 years of educational experience. Sarah shared that the most impactful aspect of working at MVS has been a strong sense of community, support, and collaboration among staff. She values the availability of the resources for both teachers and students and emphasizes that a supportive environment for educators helps create a safe, encouraging space where students feel confident, taking risks, and learning new things. Teaching, especially at MVS, brings Sarah joy. These individuals matter. Their impact on students, staff, and broader community is hard to put into words. Many of these exceptional educators are not only invested in the students as teacher, but also as Easthampton residents. We thank them for their vulnerability in sharing here, but more importantly, we thank them for their dedication to their practice, to their colleagues, and to the students and families of this town. We respectfully urge the members of the committee and the Easthampton community to vote yes on the override. These educators matter. Their impact on our children matters. I also urge city leadership and its committee to work collaboratively and to persevere current levels of support and develop a sustainable long-term budget plan that minimizes these cuts both now and in the years ahead. Thank you from many new and veteran educators working to serve your community.
Thank you very much.
Hi everybody, my name's Jules Marciano. I'm a 1st-year teacher at Mountain View School. I teach 5th grade math and science. Last year I also had the privilege of being a paraprofessional in the student support program under Kate Pruner's supervision, which was a really memorable and valuable experience for me. This is my 10th year in education. I've worked in every level from preschool to 12th grade. It's been the honor of my lifetime, and I had no idea when I landed at Easthampton Public Schools that I would have the experience that I had. I actually just wanted to take the opportunity to say that I'm incredibly grateful to have welcomed Laura Scott into my classroom. It was a privilege to have you there. Thank you for coming to read to my kids.
Yeah.
I wanted to come up here and say thank you because I realized that by this time this summer, I may not be returning, which is, it is the greatest sadness I've experienced, and I'm so grateful to all the wonderful people that I've met in my 2 years here at EPSD. And I hope and pray every day that I get to continue to do the work that I feel so lucky to be able to do.
Thank you, Jules. I want to say to the audience that Jules was incredible. I was in her room for about 20 minutes, and I left that room and went immediately to her principal, administration, and the superintendent said, "Who is that woman? We keep her forever." Thank you, Jules. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rosalie Loisel, and I am a 6th grade student at Mountain View. I'm in concert band and jazz band, and I play the flute. I was Duffy in the production of Annie. I also a cheerleader. In kindergarten, when COVID hit, my teacher quit on the second day of online school. I have an unspecified reading disorder. That means I have difficulty reading, but I get help though. My dream is to be able to read at grade level, and I can read Lord of the Rings. I got bullied for my reading level, but now I'm doing much better. Enough about me, let's get to the point. If you vote against the override, you will crush kids' dreams. Some kids want to do band, others want to get a certain teacher. The thing is, if you vote yes, I can continue participating in the extracurriculum activities I enjoy. You might have to pay a little bit more of taxes. For some of you, it's okay, but the others, you might be hard. I know how you feel. So please don't forget me. Don't forget our community. Our future lies in your hands. Good night. Vote yes.
Thank you very much.
Can I just say that was one of my kids at one time. She was one of my students. Nice job, Rosalie. Well done with your reading. Thank you. My name is Morgan Jones. I am currently in my 14th year of teaching. With the exception of 2 years spent in other districts, I've dedicated my career to the Easthampton Public Schools, including my year-long practicum experience here. I am one of the 40 educators who recently received a letter because I left the district for 11 months to pursue a dream, only to realize that what I was searching for was here all along. When I returned, however, I did so without professional status. So therefore I have my letter. Easthampton Public Schools is remarkable in so many ways. We are fortunate to work alongside incredibly talented educators who are deeply committed to their students and dedicated to their craft. Equally as important, we have built systems that truly support our learners, especially our most vulnerable students. During my time away from the district in 2025, I found myself repeatedly speaking about Easthampton, about our extraordinary staff, the services we provide with fidelity, and about the incredible programs available to the students in this district. I have always been proud to call myself an educator in this district, even when I wasn't here. For me, the most meaningful part of being an educator in Easthampton has been the opportunity to develop strong, lasting relationships with students and witness their growth over time. One very sweet and timely memory resurfaced from the COVID teaching era and perfectly captures why this work is so important to me, in particular in this district. At that time, a colleague shared this about my work with a student named Brooke. Quote, "I just have to give a quick shout out to one of my amazing colleagues for rocking this crisis teaching thing. She's developed a relationship with Brooke 100% on Zoom. They had never met before since they were in different buildings. When she texted to say she was going to drop off a sticker chart, Brooke waited by the window so she could wave, and then couldn't get shoes on fast enough to get to the mailbox, get the chart, and compare it to the week before. They're all in the fridge. Developing relationships with students takes time and work in person. The fact that you've done this 100% on Zoom is amazing. So today we thank you, Morgan Jones, for being a really awesome teacher." End quote. Brooke was in 2nd grade in 2020. Today, she's one of my 8th graders. Returning to Mountain View School in November and having the privilege to teach her again these past 6 months has been an incredibly meaningful reminder of the lasting impact relationships can have in education, particularly if you've been in the district this long. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Adam Sarwick, and I am the president of the Easthampton Education Association. I am also a former student of Easthampton Public Schools, and although I no longer live in the city, Easthampton is still my home to me in many ways. I was born here, I grew up here, and I lived here into my 20s. My family is still here. These schools helped shape who I become. Years later, I made the choice to come back and work in this district because I believe in this community and the students here. I am proud to work in Easthampton Public Schools. That is why this moment is so difficult. What we are talking about tonight is not just numbers on a spreadsheet or positions in a budget. We are talking about students. We are talking about classrooms. We are talking about the people who support children every single day. The possibility of losing more than 40 educators and paraeducators is not just concerning, it is devastating for a district our size. 2 weeks ago, a former student of mine spoke during public comment and talked about how programs like band and theater saves kids' lives. He was right. Those programs saved mine too. As a student, I found myself in those spaces. They gave me confidence, community, and a place where I felt comfortable in my own skin in a way academics alone could not. My older sister found that same sense of belonging through athletics. For many students, these programs are not extras. They are the reason students stay connected to school, build relationships, discover who they are, and feel like they matter. These kind of opportunities are essential, especially for students who are struggling, searching for connection, or trying to find where they belong. This is not how I want to see students go through school. This is not how I want to see my colleagues forced to work. This is not how city employees should feel, constantly worrying about whether the systems they dedicate their lives to will continue to function. Education cannot operate in survival mode forever. Schools are one of the foundations of a healthy community. Strong schools create stronger communities, stronger local economies, and better futures for children. When schools are stretched too thin, everyone feels it eventually. I know budgets are complicated. I know difficult decisions have to be made. But I also know what these schools gave to me growing up, and I know what our students deserve now. The city invested in me years ago through its public schools. That investment allowed me to become an educator and come back to serve this community myself. I want today's students to have those same opportunities. Because at the end of the day, publication is not extra, it is essential. Thank you.
I'm gonna pause for 1 second. We've had a bunch of people join us since I made this announcement, so I want to announce again for those who've joined in the interim. We're holding a public speak right now. We are going to let everyone who wishes to speak now have the opportunity to do so. Then Superintendent Balch is going to make a presentation that is going to offer some more detail about, with more specificity about what the two scenarios will look like if the override passes or fails. Following that presentation, we are going to open public speak back up again if there's anybody who would like to comment from further information. I just wanted the folks watching us at home and who've joined us in person to be aware of that. I'm so sorry. Go right ahead.
Quite all right. Good evening. My name is Michelle Connolly, and I have been an Easthampton resident for almost 36 years. My husband and I moved here as renters, fell in love with Easthampton, and bought our home here. My 3 children attended Easthampton Public Schools from the EHS Tiny Tots program through high school graduation. I have been a teacher at the middle school for 20 years. I have seen the benefits of strong academics and extracurricular activities in the Easthampton schools. My children participated in sports, band, and theater. Those opportunities enhanced their time in school, helped them gain confidence, showed them how to work with others toward a shared goal, and brought joy to their lives. For one of my children, non-essential classes and extracurricular activities led to an amazing opportunity, a nearly full ride scholarship to Fordham University. His experience in things like stagecraft, interning with Ms. Paulus, and his years participating in the theater program on stage and backstage helped him get the Excellence in Theater Scholarship ahead of students from many prestigious private schools and performing arts academies. Our tiny little Easthampton High School offers so many opportunities for students. My grandchildren, who are now students at Mountain View School, I want my grandchildren, my current students, and upcoming students to have the same opportunities that my own children and previous students have had. The thought of losing so many amazing teachers, important programs, and extracurricular activities is heartbreaking. Aside from the schools, my family has benefited from other Easthampton services. All 3 of my kids have taken a ride in the ambulance. One stopped breathing at 5 months old, and I couldn't believe how quickly the police and ambulance were at my door. We adore the Emily Williston Library, are so grateful for Nonotuck Park, and appreciate the difference in Easthampton roads compared to other towns on snowy days. I will be voting for the override. I know it's a lot to ask for people. It will be a sacrifice for my family too, but I believe we need to make that sacrifice so that our students can have a quality education and the extra things that bring joy to their school days. If my fellow citizens have emergencies, I want them to experience the same quick response when they call 911. I want all of our library offerings to continue. I want seniors to have access to full offerings at the senior center. And I hope that we can all come together for Easthampton and all of its residents.
Thank you, Michelle.
Hello and good evening. My name is Will Wagler. I am known to my students as Mr. Will. I am the current Mountain View Middle School librarian. On Friday, May 15th, I received my notice of non-renewal. Without the override vote passing, it is all but guaranteed that that beautiful middle school library will be without a skilled professional librarian. A certified librarian with an MLIS, a Master of Library and Information Science degree, is trained in literacy development, research instruction, media literacy, and helping students learn how to evaluate information critically. In a time of misinformation, AI-generated content, and declining reading engagement, these skills are essential. This is the world now, and this is what I do as a librarian. A critical part of my job is to find that right book, at the right reading level, the right kind of book, whether it's print, audio, comics, and graphic novels, and get those into the hands of students. Knowing how to read is foundational to learning, and enjoyment reading is one of the strongest predictors for a child's success in adult life. Studies consistently show that schools with full-time master's level librarians have higher student achievement and have performed significantly better academically than those with no librarian, or where that role had been filled in by someone without a library degree. For many students, the school library is also a refuge, a calm space, the librarian there as a trusted adult, and a place where they feel seen. Childhood is hard. Middle school is hard. A room with books and no librarian offers little comfort. When push comes to shove for what programs stay and which ones go in a massive budget cut like this, it's always state mandated versus enrichment programs. For us, those enrichment programs fall under the umbrella term of specials: art, band, health, music, PE, STEAM, and of course, my personal favorite, library. What we do is special, but we are not a novelty or expendable. Our roles are vital for a rich, full education that every single one of Easthampton's students deserve. We are put in the unfortunate position to ask our neighbors for more than is reasonable, especially in this economy. It should not be solely the burden of the citizens to be asked to give more, but here we are. Easthampton students are growing and moving forward from grade to grade, and we need something now just to survive as a town that offers a decent education to our students, our future. Removing trained librarians is not a small operational adjustment. It is a reduction in literacy support, information education, and equitable access for your children. Please vote yes for the override. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rowe.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nikki Slabinski, and for the last 3 years, I have had the privilege of being the physical therapist for the Easthampton Public Schools. While I've only been in this district for 3 years, I have been a physical therapist for 9, working with people of all ages and all abilities. On May 15th, I was one of the 40 staff members to receive a letter of non-renewal, and to say I was heartbroken would be an understatement. While I'm not originally from Easthampton, after 7 years of living in this town, I can say without hesitation that this town is my home. This is where I have built my life, formed relationships, and invested my heart. Easthampton is not just the district where I work, it is the community I choose to belong to. As a physical therapist in the school, my role is far more than helping children walk down the hallways or climb stairs safely. It's about access, it's about dignity, and it's about ensuring that every student, regardless of ability, can fully participate in their education alongside their peers. When services are reduced, students lose more than just minutes on a schedule. They lose opportunities, confidence, and independence. And for some families, school-based services are the only consistent support that they receive. I have supported children in classrooms, playgrounds, and buses. I have celebrated milestones that many people take for granted every day. Transferring independently for the first time, joining classmates on the playground, or simply having the confidence to participate more fully in their school day. These moments matter. I also want to speak honestly about the reality that many school professionals face. Like many educators and service providers, I work a per diem job at the hospital to help make financial ends meet so that I can continue to do the work I love here. I do it because I believe in the district, I believe in the students, and I believe that public education should continue attracting and retaining passionate, experienced professionals who dedicate their lives to their children. But dedication alone cannot sustain the programs indefinitely. If we continue cutting resources, we risk losing the very people who make inclusive education possible. We risk staff burnout, reducing support for vulnerable students, and sending a message that their services are expendable even when we know that they're not. I ask you tonight to remember that behind every line item on a budget is a child working hard to participate, belong, and succeed. And behind every service is a team of professionals committed to helping them get there. Please protect the supports that allow students to access their education meaningfully and with dignity. These decisions made here will shape not only the budget, but our futures. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good evening, school committee members, Mayor Derby, and members of the community. My name is Carrie Guyette, and I am a lifelong resident of Easthampton. My roots in Easthampton run deep. My grandparents, Horace and Marjorie Wilby, grew up here and graduated from Easthampton High School in 1942. My grandfather was deeply involved in this community and served on the Easthampton School Building Committee in the early 1960s, which eventually led to the construction of the former Easthampton High School building. My grandparents spent most of their life here and were one of the first residents to move to the Lathrop community on Florence Road. My father, Bruce, grew up on Holyoke Street in Easthampton. He played varsity sports throughout high school and graduated in 1968. He spent countless years coaching baseball teams, attending local events, and served on the Easthampton School Committee. He donated to scholarships for Easthampton High School students and created a scholarship in memory of his brother, Barry Wilby, who was an educator for over 40 years at Easthampton High School. My father loved this community and supported it greatly. I was born and raised here in Easthampton and graduated in the year 2000. I attended Maple School, Pepin School, Whitebrook, and Easthampton High School. I grew up riding my bike in the plains, visiting Nonotuck Park, and eating ice cream at Tasty Top. I loved growing up here and wanted the same for my own 2 children, which is why my husband and I chose to raise our children here in Easthampton. Both of our children have attended Easthampton School since kindergarten, and we have been impressed with the wonderful education they have received in the Easthampton Public School District. Along with being a taxpayer in Easthampton and a parent of 2 students in Easthampton Public Schools, I am also a staff member at Mountain View School. In 2024, I chose to accept a 4th grade teaching position at Mountain View School. I knew in my heart I wanted to educate the students of my community and contribute to the excellence of the Easthampton Public School District. On Friday, May 15th, I received a non-renewal letter indicating that my last day of work would be June 22nd. Although I have been a teacher for over 20 years, starting in a new district meant that I would no longer have seniority. In order to have professional status, it requires 3 consecutive years in the current district you're working in. I love my job, and I'm thankful to work alongside talented, compassionate, and kind educators and administrators. It is an honor and privilege to educate the students of Easthampton. I will be voting yes to the override on June 9th. As a lifelong Easthampton resident, a taxpayer, a parent, and a teacher, I want the best experience possible for people in my community. The override supports our schools, police department, fire department, public works department, and various other community programs. I'm proud of our city. I'm proud to be from Easthampton.
I'm proud to be part of a caring, compassionate community that supports one another. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Carrie.
Hi. I'm Amanda Fortier-Gagnon. I identify as a deeply rooted Easthampton resident. There's so much I could say about my love for Easthampton. I was the camp director at Camp Nonotuck for 8 years. My husband is a firefighter paramedic here, and my babies will go to school here. Some of you may remember my dad, Jay Fortier, Easthampton high school teacher and basketball coach through the 90s and the 2000s, and Easthampton Athletic Association Hall of Fame inductee in 2024. I was asked to be here tonight because of my family's quote-unquote legacy in Easthampton athletics to talk about the importance of preserving sports in our community. The short explanation would be that historically, Easthampton has held athletics in such high regard that the city has its own Hall of Fame. But I think that there's more that we could add to the conversation. I'm an adjustment counselor at Hampshire Regional High School, so I'm not naive to the current budget crisis we're facing in our schools. I've spent the better part of 15 years working with teenagers, and I can say with confidence that we are in a very bad situation. Taking away access to extracurriculars, athletics in particular, would negatively impact students in far more ways than just more time on screens and less exercise. We are currently facing an adolescent mental health crisis. Student need has skyrocketed while available community supports have dwindled. Teenagers are desperate for connection, support, and areas where they can build their skills. When we don't have mental health resources available, we turn to athletics. A kid needs friends, play a sport. A kid needs confidence to get through the school day, play a sport. Kid has it rough at home and needs somewhere to go after school, play a sport. Coaches are invaluable resources for student athletes. A good coach can transform a student's life and help them reimagine their future. I know this because I grew up with the best coach there was. I continue to be in contact with many student athletes that were coached by my dad. Coincidentally, Carrie Wilby, who spoke just before me, was one of my many babysitters as I grew up on the basketball court. Through my experience with teenagers, I can tell you that if we take away sports, we will continue to witness the rapid decline of students who can think critically, who can face challenges without getting discouraged, who can make decisions confidently, and so on and so on. We are currently experiencing a resilience emergency. We need to be teaching our kids how to do these things with confidence so that they can build skills for their future. As a parent of 2 young sons, I cannot explain how devastating it would be to my family to watch the legacy of Easthampton athletics I've been so lucky to be a part of disappear. I know things are bleak. I know that other services in the community will suffer. I know that in some ways a huge budget cut was going to be inevitable, and I urge the committee and the community to work creatively to find other ways to make ends meet. And I urge the residents of Easthampton to continue to put our kids first and vote yes on the override.
Thank you, Amanda.
Hi, my name is Melissa Labar Rogers, and I've been an Easthampton resident for 29 years. It's my chosen hometown. I moved here as a young adult and decided to stay here. I'm the parent of 2 middle schoolers at Mountain View School, and I'm also a special education teacher in the elementary school here, and one of the 40 educators who received non-renewal notices on May 15th. As a first-year teacher, I knew it was coming, but it did sting a bit, as I am at the end of my 7th school year in this district, as I worked as a para in the same type of program while I worked towards my license. I love Easthampton Public Schools. My children have been so fortunate to have been taught by so many incredible educators whose care for them has continued beyond their years in the classroom. The amazing educators and principal at Maple School are what drew me here, and they are also the people that made me want to come back year after year to eventually teach alongside them. My colleagues have become family, and it's hard to watch what is happening to so many people I love working with right now. It's difficult to think of how even the best case scenario will affect the students in our district. A yes vote will leave us with a $900,000 deficit, but a no vote puts us closer to $3 million. That means a staggering decrease in educators to support our students. It's not fear-mongering to say that a deficit this size will be catastrophic for our schools. My own children will face larger classrooms, miss out on sports, and lose an amazing math interventionist, Jennifer Oliver, who has made it possible for them to enjoy extra support in math, in addition to helping them dramatically improve their grades. Other children could lose much more, and though losing things like clubs, sports, and specials may seem small to some, those are the things that get some of our students through the door and through each day because they can't wait for that part of their day. I recognize the sacrifices many families will have to make to fund a yes vote, but I believe that there is no other choice if we want to do right by our students. I would love to be able to tell my students that I'll see them next year, and I hope many of my coworkers will be able to say the same. Please vote yes.
Thank you, Melissa.
Hi, my name is Patty Benson, and I have lived in Easthampton for the last 23 years. Both my kids went through the Easthampton public school system, and I have been very proud to be a teacher at the high school for the past 4 years. Although I am deeply concerned about the cuts at the school, and I do want to clarify that these cuts are actually happening. They're not fear-mongering or scare tactics. I actually want to speak first as a taxpayer and resident of the town. The fire department and police department have been specific and transparent about the staffing cuts that will be triggered by a failed override. I'm worried about our town where the fire department and police department are understaffed, the ambulance and the fire trucks take a long time to arrive, our home insurance goes up because of these problems, and our house's property values go down. We all use the town library. We like having the roads plowed. We know the services are available at the community center and the senior center. Each department has been specific and transparent about the cuts they are facing, and I don't understand those who call these scare tactics when the numbers have been shared in black and white. For instance, circling back to my own role as a teacher, I can share that I teach child development, and my high school students help run the Tiny Tots preschool program. This is a very low-cost, high-quality preschool option that Easthampton High has been offering the community for the past 45-plus years. If the override does not pass, the Tiny Tots program will be eliminated. It's not a scare tactic, it's a fact, as the superintendent will share with us shortly. And this is just one of many programs and positions that will be eliminated at our schools. When parents and families realize that our class sizes are too big, our high school has no sports and very few electives, they will use the school choice option and send their children to another district. We, the taxpayers of Easthampton, still need to pay for each child's education, and we will do so by sending thousands of dollars per student to the new town where these students will attend. So instead of paying for our teachers and our programs, instead of maintaining our school buildings, our money will follow these students to the surrounding towns, where we will be paying to support another town's teachers, programs, and buildings. Meanwhile, if our schools are not functional, our property values will continue to decrease. It's a sacrifice to pay higher taxes, but if we want a safe, well-run town with proper fire, police, DPW, library, parks, and senior services, if we want a well-run, properly staffed, and properly equipped schools with students that are safe, healthy, and well-educated, and we need to encourage these students to stay in town and our tax dollars to stay in Easthampton, then we need to vote yes for this override. Thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Good evening. My name is Cynthia Cloutier, and I'm a lifelong resident and product of Easthampton Schools, having graduated in 1987. I speak today on two platforms. First, as a parent. My children, who are now in college, have also gone through these schools, having taken part in sports, band, chorus, and We the People, all areas in danger of being cut. These parts of their education helped shape them into the people they are today. An example of this is my daughter, Jessica, who graduated college this month and is now taking a path of law school. She and my son took part in the We the People class run by Kelly Brown. Their communication, public speaking, and debating skills grew profoundly, as well as their understanding of the Constitution. As a result, my daughter fell in love with learning about the Constitution and defending its laws. When she earns a Juris Doctor degree in 3 years and passes the bar, she plans to use her skills around government and policy. She plans to do her work around constitutional law. These programs, all of these programs, are not extras. They are vital to our students. They can change a student's life, especially those who are quite vulnerable. Now I speak as a teacher. I've been teaching music for 34 years, the last 19 being in Easthampton. I've seen many students come through the doors of Easthampton schools.
Take your time, Cindy. Take your time.
I see so many faces at Big Y, at Big E's, Mount Tom Ice Cream, and even standing here at this podium. And I remember the great things they did in my classroom. Many of my students continue their musical journey into middle school and high school and beyond. They have come out of our schools as trumpet players, drummers, trombone players, actors, singers, dancers, musicians. They've learned what it feels like to create something beautiful. They've learned about teamwork, innovation, culture, collaboration, community, confidence, and resilience. These things are so important for a student to learn, especially those who don't find it through sports or academics. Music education is not a luxury. It's an investment in our children and the future of our vibrant community. As someone who speaks on 2 platforms and as a registered voter, I plan to vote yes for our students and for our community. I ask, though, that the leaders of our community find ways to close this gap that does not include cutting the school budget and does not place the burden solely on the taxpayers. Be creative problem solvers. Where there is a will, there is a way. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Brandon Goulet, and I am currently the band director at Mountain View School. Back in 2017, I did my student teaching at Whitebrook Middle School. While I was there, I was under great guidance, and there was something special that Easthampton had to offer within their music programs. After I finished student teaching, I was able to get a job in another district. Then Easthampton had an opening as a choral and general music teacher in 2019. I was very eager to apply for this position as I knew Easthampton had one of the greatest music programs that Western Mass had to offer. Fast forward to a couple of years later, I felt privileged to have the opportunity to move over to the band position at Mountain View School. The Easthampton music program has been a special place in my heart. It is rewarding to watch students begin on their instruments in 5th grade and then move on to the high school. I feel that music program is a special asset that Easthampton has to offer. I have felt a lot of support within the Easthampton community from students and parents, and I'm honored to be a special part of the SMAG district. With all that said, I do have some concerns with our music programs in the near future. As of last Friday, I was called in and given a reduction in force letter stating that all music will be cut in the middle school level for next year if the override does not pass. I fear we will no longer have music offered in schools, taking away experiences that are essential to our students. Music education has a lot of reasons why it's important. When I was in school, music education was a big part of my life. It was more than just playing an instrument. It gave me an overall sense of purpose. Music got me through school, and it was something I looked forward to. It helped me build friendships and made me feel like I was belonged. If it weren't for music, I would not be who I am today as a music educator. I want the same for my music students in Easthampton to have the same opportunities when I was in school. I'm hoping that we can somehow make music education sustainable within our district. It can be heartbreaking to see that students will no longer have the opportunities to learn their instrument if the override does not pass. It is going to be sad to no longer have concerts or see our current 5th graders continue on to the music programs after the first year of learning their instrument. I'm hoping we can have these music opportunities for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon.
So I placed myself well behind both of the two of our music teachers, and I am speaking on behalf of the Easthampton Music Boosters. So good evening, members of the school committee, administrators, educators, and community members. My name is Shelby Hivenen. I live in Easthampton, and I am the parent of 2 Easthampton high school students who have participated in the band program since 5th grade. I will note that both of my children are also current or upcoming members of the Amazing We the People program. My son is soon joining the Tiny Tots program, which my older child really loved. Both of my children, my younger child participates in several sports at the high school, and the other works at the downtown public library and participated in drama club. So all of these things are at risk right now. But I'm speaking tonight on behalf of the Easthampton Music Boosters and many families connected to our district's music programs. First, I want to acknowledge the incredibly difficult financial situation facing Easthampton Public Schools and the city of Easthampton. I recognize that the decisions before you are painful and complex, and I appreciate the care and effort that district leaders and educators continue to bring to this process. Tonight, I am asking that as these difficult decisions are made, music education continues to be recognized as an essential part of student learning and well-being. Over the past several months, the Easthampton Music Boosters conducted a district music program survey of middle and high school students and caregivers. The responses were remarkably consistent. Students and families described music programs as places of belonging, confidence, friendship, creativity, perseverance, and emotional support. Many students shared that these programs are where they feel most connected to their school community. Caregivers repeatedly describe music as one of the reasons their children feel engaged and motivated in school. Families are now deeply concerned about the possibility of losing several music educators if the override does not pass, and what this could mean for the future of these programs. Elementary music programs sow the seeds for future musicians, and the middle school music program is not separate from the high school program. It is the foundation of it. Band and chorus are developmental pathways that begin in 5th grade and grow year after year into the advanced ensemble students experience at Easthampton High School. Significant reductions at the middle school level would have lasting effects across the district for years to come. Music education is also about far more than performance. These programs teach collaboration, discipline, leadership, resilience, and responsibility. For many students, they are where students feel most confident, supported, and seen. One message came through clearly in our survey responses. These programs matter deeply to Easthampton students and families. And I will note the responses, and I've shared the survey forward, were from all the grades, all the ensembles, all the instruments, quite a few participants. Regardless of the outcome of the override vote, I respectfully ask that the district and city continue exploring every possible pathway to preserve and strengthen music education opportunities for Easthampton students. Thank you for your time, your service, and your continued support of the students, educators, and programs that make our schools stronger. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelby.
Good evening. Hello. Good evening. My name is Jason Rodriguez. I am a paraeducator at Easthampton High School, and I am also the political action leader for the district. So, being the political action leader for the district, that's how I'm going to be speaking to you tonight. But before I do, Mayor Derby, Dr. Balch, school committee, and fellow staff and citizens, thank you for this opportunity to speak tonight at a very important time in this city's history. The last time that I was up here, which was a few weeks ago, I made a call for all of us to say yes to the override. And I'm asking again for us to say yes to the override. But there is an extra detail that I want to present to you all tonight. And that is not only to say yes to the override, but to say yes to justice for Easthampton. Yes for justice in Easthampton. You see, for the last few weeks, I have heard the concerns and the anxieties of many people where I work. Many tears have been shed. Many people don't know what's going to happen next. For some people, what's about to happen, if it does happen, if there is no override, could potentially ruin their lives. And I don't think we fully understand the weight of that. You see, I'm gonna dare say those who are at the very, very top who don't need to work a 9 to 5, they're not gonna be affected by what's going on. It's all of us who are sitting in this room that are affected by this situation. Which is why I'm calling for justice. I'm calling for justice because, as I have said before, I'm gonna say again, I love this city and I wanna see it thrive. And I pray for the welfare of this city because if the city prospers, then we will also prosper. And I believe that all of us here who have been fighting for this override, however way we can, we have been put into this position for such a time as this. And this is indeed a historic time. History is going to remember the decisions we make today and tomorrow. And so, what I'm about to say is I'm not talking about anybody that is in this room right now. I want to make that very clear. I don't know who needs to be spoken to. I don't know who needs to be called. I don't know what needs to happen, but I am proposing that there be an investigation opened as to how the heck we got into this position in the first place. Because this deficit didn't just pop out of nowhere. It happened somehow. Somewhere along the line, somebody messed up in how things were managed when it came to funds. And so that's what I'm proposing for such a time as this. We the people are rising up. We the people are speaking. We the people are moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
Good evening. My name is Margaret Betts, and I am the EEA's Vice President. I also teach at Mountain View and have taught there for the last, 4 years, but then in Easthampton for 19. I want to be very pragmatic tonight and address one of the major driving forces of the override, which is the rising cost of healthcare. So speaking from pragmatics, I want to say that we understand that healthcare costs are placing pressure on municipal finances. This is happening in Easthampton and all over the state and the nation. We understand that these costs matter to taxpayers and city leaders, and they matter to us too. We also take very seriously the request that we are making of citizens to support this override. We know that we are asking taxpayers for additional support, and we believe we have a responsibility to steward those dollars carefully and responsibly. We do not want to see more and more public money diverted into the profits of large healthcare corporations while working families and communities struggle to keep up. Keeping dollars local, supporting our schools, our services, our employees, and our community is in all of our interests. We want sustainable, affordable, and decent health care for employees and the city. We believe that reducing healthcare costs is in everybody's interest. We ask that this is not to be a fight between workers and the community when the real issue is a national healthcare system that is increasingly unaffordable for everyone. Health insurance will be part of our next negotiations. We are proud public servants. We care deeply about this community, and we are committed to working collaboratively to address these rising costs while protecting the health and dignity of the people who serve this city. Please vote yes.
Thank you, Margaret.
Good evening. My name is Susan Wilson. I live in Holyoke, Mass, and I work at the high school. School committee members, thank you for providing for tonight's public speak opportunity. For the past 11 years, I've been honored to be the assistant principal at Easthampton High to over 1,200 graduates. In 1999, I started at Whitebrook Middle School as a 7th and 8th grade teacher. From the very first day in Easthampton, I witnessed the joy and commitment to students and to their education. That has remained for the past 26 years. Tonight, I'm here full of gratitude to the people of Easthampton. You have invested in the youth of the city and provided for beautiful schools full of talented, incredible staff. Students have meaningful experiences in and out of the classroom. They grow, they learn, some take flight, we are the Eagles, to make their mark elsewhere. But some have stayed and live and work in Easthampton, including many EHS staff members. Wherever they land, they make their mark because of the foundation they've received in Easthampton. Students, staff, and the people of Easthampton have been sharing their voices and experiences during this time. Participatory government is amazing and scratchy and creative and empowering and valued and hard. And it makes us proud to see our students involved. These are trying times for sure. This is not lost on me or any of us. My request is to continue funding the high quality education and experiences for the current and future students of Easthampton, and to provide for the high quality vital city services. This is a difficult request. Our students matter, our community matters, and our future matters. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue.
And when Sue arrived this evening, she and I exchanged notes, and then we realized that we wrote the exact same remarks in separate rooms. But it only leaves me a little chagrined. It makes me more proud than anything else. And speaking of pride, I'd like to give a shout out to the students that are here tonight. Can we hear it for them? Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to address the committee and our larger community. My name is Bill Evans, and for the past 7 years, it has been my privilege to serve as the principal of Easthampton High School. Tonight, in the midst of the challenging choices that the members of this community are facing, I would like to offer my appreciation. In my 7 years at EHS, this community has always supported our vision for what a robust and meaningful educational experience should be. From the mayor's office, the city council, the school committee, and all of the citizens, we have always been given what we need to create a thriving and vital space for students to grow. It has been abundantly clear that Easthampton prioritizes its young people and recognizes the importance of supporting all the work that the schools do. Because of the commitment of this community, we have beautiful buildings to work from. We have a thriving arts program, which many have spoken so eloquently about tonight. Almost half of our students play a sport. We have class sizes that are ideal for developing relationships and providing individual attention. We have interesting and innovative elective programs that engage students beyond traditional academics, who create lifelong memories and truly meaningful education for the young people of this community. We have been able to do these things because this town understands the importance of providing a rich experience to students. It understands that the alternatives are unacceptable to the continued growth and communal prosperity of this city. Thank you to all of you for that incredible support over the years. Your care, concern, and commitment is part of the DNA of Easthampton, and it is evident every day when we see these amazing people come through our doors at 7:30 every morning. They are clearly the products of a profoundly caring community. It is not lost on us that the additional ask that is being made and the objectively awful timing of it, but ask we must with humility and with deep gratitude. Thank you for your time and your continued commitment to our mission and to our young people.
Thank you, Bill.
My name is Nathan Marquis. For transparency's sake, I am also a city councilor at large in the city. I come before you not in that role, but in my capacity as the chair of the Easthampton Democratic Committee. I'm just going to read you our press statement. I did not plan on speaking tonight either. I had another meeting in the back room, and so this is my prepared remark. The East Hampton Democrats endorsed the Prop 2.5 tax override. On Tuesday, May 19th, 2026, the membership of the Easthampton Democratic City Committee voted unanimously to formally endorse the Prop 2.5 property tax override and vote for yes for Easthampton. The vote followed a highly informative presentation by Sam Hunter, representing the vote yes for Easthampton. A group of community members supporting the property tax override. The presentation outlined how the override was created and the significant impact on the Easthampton city services if it fails to pass. The impacts include severe cuts to local education funding, reduction in vital police and fire services, and the ongoing financial instability for Easthampton moving forward. After a question and answer session and active discussion, EDC Chair Nathan Markey made a motion to formally endorse the Prop 2.5 property tax override and the efforts of the vote yes for Easthampton. The vote was passed unanimously by the Easthampton Democratic members present. Chair Markey commented, quote, "I understand that voting on the Prop 2.5 override is a tough choice facing a lot of folks. The increasing tax burden when the people of Easthampton have already faced inflation rising costs across the board. I get it. However, without the override, the required budget cuts will have a lasting impact on education, safety, and even costs like homeowners insurance. The override isn't a long-term fix. It helps preserve the critical services and stability right now. The Easthampton Democratic Committee, we're still like Democrats in town, stuff. Baxter Chandler, which is the secretary of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Nathan.
Sorry for the last
That's
minute
okay.
addition.
Go
I was
right
like
ahead.
closing, opening my book, debating. I had remarks. I'm not going to go off of remarks. I'm just going to go quickly. My name is Madison Rodriguez, and I grew up as a student. I grew up in the Easthampton public school system. A lot of the teachers here tonight are actually teachers that I had, and three of my history teachers, Miss Brown, Miss Stadman, and Mr. Orr are all here tonight. When I was a high school student, I struggled in school. I hid behind my friends because I was scared to get help from other teachers. It wasn't until I was in the We the People program as a high schooler where I found my voice and I figured out that I wanted to help other people and help my community. I moved on to thinking I wanted to be a lawyer. I thought I wanted to be an immigration lawyer. Similar to a lot of We the People alum, we go on and we have big dreams. I majored in political science at Western New England, and I graduated with my Bachelor of Arts with political science and minors in international relations and public administration. I also apologize if my voice is shaky tonight. I'm going to try to just get through this without any tears. During my time, during my first year seminar as a political science student, I was asked what job I wanted to do. That was my final for the semester. I thought I was going to be a lawyer, but I ended up making my entire presentation on becoming a history teacher. The photos in my presentation included my Unit 5 group when we participated in nationals among Miss Stadman, who was a student teacher at the time and is now a third-year educator at the district or in Easthampton. And then I was able to work with my friends, and I was able to work with my friends, but also I was able to decide I wanted to be a teacher. I came back to the high school. I helped with the We the People program, which many alum do because it is such an important program. And some students here tonight who are also in the program, I'm sure, would be able to say the same. I did not expect to come back to Easthampton High School. In fact, I thought that I was going to be working more in government. I graduated, and in my summer in July, I actually came back. I was asked to work as the activities director and then a aide in a math class in the summer school. I hated math in high school. I failed geometry. I went to summer school. Dr. Cheka ended up giving me a 99, and I earned it. I did, because I didn't have my friends to hide behind. I also realized in those classes, looking back, my math teachers were my only support. And none of my math classes that I remember do I remember having an aide. When I became a math aide in the classroom working summer school, I figured out my love of learning and why I love helping others learn. Looking at a math problem when I was younger, I used to want to throw up at it. I used to want to walk out of the room. I used to ask to go to the bathroom when my teacher would ask basically to go over an assignment with me. I had similar reactions to students when I asked to help them when I became a para in the math room or worked in the summer school program. Most of the students that I worked with have now graduated, but the final 6 that I worked with, who were 9th graders at the time going into their 10th grade year, they will be graduating this June. And I'm so excited to watch them walk. I was a first year as a para. I worked in the math rooms primarily, and then I actually was asked to come and apply to be a health teacher because we were losing one of the people in our department, Miss Ainsley Murdoch, who is incredible. I was unsure at first because of what was being asked of me. I wasn't technically a certified teacher. I didn't go the teaching route. I chose to not have an educator's program at Western New England University because I decided at first that I was going to go back from teaching. I was offered the opportunity at the high school with the exception that I would take my MTEL and I would go through the process of getting my proper certification, and I did so. I never thought that I would be a health teacher. I definitely never thought I would be helping in a math room, but I'm so glad that I do. I get to work with my students and talk about healthy decision-making every day. I also, unfortunately, with the 9th graders, I'm only allowed to have them for like half of a semester, so I have to get through 21 chapters in like half of a semester. It's crazy. Technically, there's 28. That is why Ann Talley, who is in this room, is so important and beneficial to making sure that those middle schoolers, elementary students, that they get the opportunities that they deserve and they learn so much in their health career after. Because after 9th grade health, I see the students for maybe 1 or 2 more times and that's it. They'll either go on to Life 101, Tiny Tots, or my college and career readiness class, which is technically a health credit. They learn important skills, but they technically, it is still a health credit. During my college and career readiness course, I teach juniors. One of my seniors, he was accepted into Northeastern University. He told me within his first week of school that because of my class, he was able to get done everything in his Common App, and it was like a week or 2 weeks before he submitted everything to schools. I speak because I understand. I'm a member of the community. My brother grew up in football. I grew up doing Easthampton cheer. I then moved on to softball. My brother stayed through the Easthampton sports program and played Easthampton football. My brother found a sense of community and friendship within the football players within the school and at Easthampton High School. I participated in chorus when I was in middle school. I participated in drama in middle school as well. In the high school, again, I spent my time during the We the People program. As a teacher, I am the health teacher. However, I also taught US 2 this past semester, this past fall, and then I was supposed to be teaching 2 US 2 classes, or 2 US 1 classes next year. I am one of 40. My last day as of right now, and if the override does not pass, is June 22nd, technically the 23rd. With my time here as a teacher, I have also my favorite time has been spent outside of class, and that has been watching students do activities that they love. It's going to sports games, which I rarely participated to in going when I was in high school, but it's to sports games to watch my students play sports because they're more than just the grade that they get in the classroom. I love to go to the plays, the musicals. I love helping, volunteering. I chaperoned the Annie, the musical Annie, where Rosalie, one of the students who spoke earlier today, was actually one of the middle schoolers. Programs like drama are so important because they give students a space to speak. And to be themselves and a sense of community within a school. Sports are so important. While I played sports in middle school, almost all of my friends continued to play sports through high school, and they were able to create amazing friendships and networking opportunities that have lasted them into their lives today. I don't know where I will be here next year. I hope it's here. I hope I get to see the juniors or the graduating seniors next year who I worked with as 9th graders. I do hope I get to see them graduate. Regardless, I will be there. I do know today that if the override does not pass, half of my department in health will be dissolved. Ms. Patty Benson and I will no longer be teaching at the high school, leaving just Brian Miller and Andrew Lawrence. Patty Benson is incredible and deserves to be recognized in all that she does for the Tiny Tot program. When Miss Mason, or Sue Mason, left the Tiny Tot program, which I participated in but wasn't a Tiny Tot in, when Miss Mason left, nobody was sure if the Tiny Tot program would survive. Patty Benson has made it survive and flourished, and I really hope after 40 plus years of the program that it continues today. Some of the past 3 years that I've been here, because I have been here 3 years, next year would technically be my fourth, my third in my health position. I have seen many teachers come into this district who I've been able to work collaboratively with. Off the top of my head, I will just list a few: Dr. Aaron Ferris, Mr. Chad Warren, Ms. Dina Lashway, who is the ALL teacher, who allowed me, with her collaboration and support, I was able to teach a student who spoke and read primarily just Spanish, barely spoke English, or was able to read English. I was able to teach her health, and she was able to get a 90% with the help of Ms. Lashway every day and myself. Ms. Lashway continued to help me in US2 when I did not have a para when I was supposed to, and she volunteered her time when it wasn't even, it was her prep time. She came to my class and she helped and supported my students every day in helping with programs. Some of the best teachers that I have met, also Sarah Mixter, who is amazing, Dr. Sarah Mixter, and also Miss Katie Rowan at the high school who works in the Bright program. They're incredible working with students. Because of them, I was able to connect with students on more of a one-on-one basis and also understand them better. I understand and I know that because of my experience at the high school and because I went and grew up in the Easthampton system, that regardless next year if the override does or does not pass, the educators will do their best to support the students and the school. However, the programs that make Easthampton, that make it a great place to learn and grow, are sports, it is drama, it is the clubs, it is the activities, it's electives like We the People. And I do hope that I'm going to ask, and again, I grew up in Easthampton. My mom she graduated from Easthampton as well. My grandma moved to Easthampton in 1984. I'm gonna ask that you vote yes on June 9th, not for myself or the 39 other educators being cut, but for the opportunities that the students are given. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. Okay, shortly before the meeting, I received an email from a community member who couldn't make it tonight, but asked that I read this statement on her behalf. So I'm gonna read this, and then we're gonna move to see if anyone who is joining us remotely, if y'all wanna start figuring out how to raise your virtual hand now, and then we'll call on you in the order that we can see you on the screen. Okay, this is from Kristen Picard. Good morning, all. I am the mother of 2 MVS students, a 4th grader and a kindergartner, both new to Easthampton Public Schools this school year. I am also a 19-year veteran public school educator. Excuse me. Please know that my family and I have been thrilled with our transition to this school district, with the staff we've been supported by, and with our overall experience as Easthampton homeowners. Additionally, my son receives special education services, and the transition of services has been seamless, and the expertise and compassion of Ms. Lively and her staff is evident in every encounter we have had. Last Thursday, my husband and I were notified that our son, 4th grader, had been assaulted during his PE class, resulting in a pretty intense black eye. There had been a brief verbal conflict between him and a peer, and frustrated, the peer struck our son. The paraprofessional assigned to their class saw this, and my son immediately went to her for support. He was then seen by the nurse and principal. We were contacted by both the nurse and principal, as well as by my son's classroom teacher. In speaking with the principal, we listened to the situation, learned our son was okay but shook up, and that the other peer would have a consequence that would separate him from my son until a repair could be worked out. Although we are not aware of the details regarding who supported the other child, we are aware that he was well supported. By the end of the day, staff was able to bring both children together, and an apology was made and accepted. The principal again followed up with my husband the following day, and we assured her that our son was doing well, and that handling it the way that it was really benefited him, and apparently both children. I share this story not out of anger or indignation, but out of pure appreciation that both my son and his peer had the staff and resources to be supported in a time of need, that the school was staffed with enough adults, that the children could be given the space they needed and families could be communicated with in a timely manner. I also share this story with fear. Fear that even in a well-resourced building, a child could be assaulted. Imagine when that building has 30% less staff. Who is caring for my son? Who is caring for the other peer and helping both children process? Who is communicating to the families and when? Who will follow up the next day or week to ensure that things are continuing in a positive fashion? Personally, I have not worked in a fully staffed building since 2018. 30% less would result in total chaos for all involved. In closing, thank you all for the commitment to our schools, our services, and our community. If it's helpful, feel free to share any and all parts of this, as I am unable to attend the school committee meeting tonight, hoping the community comes together to ensure individuals continue to have access to the resources they need. Vote yes on June the 9th. Kristen Picard. Okay, Erin Ferris?
Yes, you're opening it up to.
Yeah, go right whenever you're ready, Erin.
Excellent. So I was asked to prepare something, and I did not, because I have not been able to. I've sat down to write, and I haven't been able to. I've tried sitting at my desk at work, looking at my students as they're doing biology or geometry, and I have not been able to. So I will do what I always do and just talk to you from my heart. It is the place that I teach from. It is the place that I come to school every day. It's kind of the only place I know how to exist. I haven't been able to do things because I watch these students, the most vulnerable students in the school community, who are so close to being full-grown adults, but are so far away. And they just need someone to believe in them. And I have students who come to me at 7:15 in the morning before the bell rings to eat breakfast. I don't know where their students will go. They'll find someone else, I'm sure. But right now they know where they can go. They know that I'm there. Some days I have to literally shoo my students out of my classroom so that I can go heat my lunch up. And they want to be assured that I'm coming right back. Other days, I just eat my lunch cold so that they don't have to get up and exit the room. And some days when they don't come to my room, I go seek them out because I know that they need a trusted adult in that building. I am proud to be that person. It's been very hard for them to know that I might not be back. It's been even harder for me to show up every day the same way that I've showed up since August. But I do it. I smile, I do the same things. Another thing that I did this year, despite being a first-year teacher, despite being the first-time special ed teacher, I was the advisor for GSA. This is something that's not negotiable for me because as a queer kid growing up in the South, I had nobody. Queer kids growing up have a 3 times more likelihood of committing suicide. When they have a trusted adult and they can see someone that looks like them, acts like them, and has the same experience as them, they're less likely to commit suicide. People who look like me and have the experiences that I have had are necessary to be in the building. We might only have 5 kids that show up for GSA, but those are 5 kids that have somebody.
that they know who is an adult and who has made it. So I highly encourage this community that I've chosen, and this community that I love, to please vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Is there anyone else joining us remotely that wants to speak now? And I will remind everyone one more time, the next thing on the agenda after this portion of public speak will be a presentation from our superintendent. After that, we'll reopen public speak. So you may choose to speak then. Any other raised hands?
Sorry,
Shoshana, yes, of course.
The raising hand function isn't working. I don't know if it's just
totally
me, but
fine.
it
Go right
wasn't
ahead,
working
Shoshana.
for me. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. My name is Shoshana Worth. I am a 9-year at this point Easthampton resident. My daughter is a 5th grade student at Mountain View School. And I just want to echo what so many people have said, but really advocating specifically for music education in our public schools. I had sent out an email with some data that supports the value of student retention and student scores and student satisfactions and how they correlate to participation in the music and the arts. And thank you to so many of you members who replied very thoughtfully and with really heartfelt messages, kind of echoing the value and the need. And my daughter has been playing the violin since she was 4 years old. She has an immense amount of self-confidence and ability to understand the value of hard work and how that correlates into everything that she does. And I attribute so much of her affect and her ability to participate and be a kind and supportive member in the classroom to the work that she puts in and she sees in music. And she has a parent in her house who knows and values and understands music education and the means to be able to support her outside of school. So many kids don't have this. So many kids, the first time they get exposed to the arts or to music is through public education. And it is such an important point of equity for the children in our community that we support not just the bare minimum, but things that allow students to thrive, future versions of themselves. So I just want to thank the members of this community for all of the hard work and thoughtfulness and attention, and thank you to the members of our council. And I hope that our community supports everybody who lives here and are thinking globally about what we want this community to stand for when we come to this vote. So thank you.
Thank you, Shoshana. Okay, seeing no other hands raised, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. Then we are going to reopen, and we'll begin with Dr. Balch's presentation with some specificity about the 2 override scenarios. Okay? Be back in 5 minutes, everyone. We're going to reconvene and call back to order. Thank you, Easthampton Media. I'm not using the gavel. Go ahead, Dr. Walsh.
Good evening, Easthampton Community Public Schools School Committee. I'm Superintendent Michelle Balch with an update, just timelines and recommendations. I wanted to thank everyone here in this room tonight and thank you for your support. For the dedicated educators and students who are here speaking with heart and emotion and with gratitude. I also share the same gratitude as the superintendent of Easthampton Public Schools. I'm incredibly proud to be here. I'm incredibly proud to stand in front of you, stand beside you, and to talk about the decisions that we have to make. And thank you to the committee for your support, and for everybody online. Thank you so much. It means a lot to all of us that you're here showing your support. And just to remind us of our core values, I keep going back to these because I think it really speaks to who we are, and we heard so much about this in in everybody's speeches this evening, who we are as a community, what we stand for, what we believe in, learning, belonging, equity, and shared responsibility. Our new mantra for Easthampton Public Schools is a commitment to learning and a community of belonging, and I truly believe that is exactly who we are and what we are about in Easthampton Public Schools. And just to recap sort of some of the responsibilities of the school committee and my role as the superintendent. So the school committee, they review and approve the budget. They work to ensure that the funds are appropriated. My role as the superintendent is to develop that timeline to create the budget and to oversee the implementation of that budget. And I framed our session last time, and I'll do it again this evening. I heard my fellow educators talk about how behind every budget, behind every number is their educators who have dedicated their lives, their careers. They've given so much of themselves as educators to the schools, to the community. And we know that behind these line items and behind these programs that we're going to be talking about is true impact. And this is an unprecedented time for our community. And we are committed to continuing to provide that safe and supportive educational experience for all of our students. And there are no easy options here. We have a lot of, we have decisions that we have to make in both options, the override and the successful override and an unsuccessful override. Just to kind of walk us through where we've been. So we developed a level service budget. It was approved. We reconvened, sort of understanding the current crisis in the city's budget. Then the city council had a special meeting to appropriate for the vote for the override. And then Mayor Derby presented his budget on May 6th. We conducted staff meetings on May 12th and 13th. We presented some information to school committee. And then on the 14th and the 15th, we had notification for our non-renewal educators, depending on the budget override. May 22nd, we had additional notifications for reduction in force. And then we're here tonight to talk about the budget scenarios, one with a successful override and one with an unsuccessful override. And we've heard a lot of talk about, Proposition 2.5 and the impact. And it matters because, and how does this impact us? Because, we have rising costs. We have staffing, special education, transportation, utilities, health. We know that these have gone up. And we have this, which creates this gap, right? This gap between revenue growth and the actual cost increases for our community. So we are asked to provide 2 budget scenarios, and we talked about these at our last meeting. And scenario 1 is still painful, right? A successful override, we still have to look for $922,603 from our proposed school committee budget. In scenario 2, if the override is unsuccessful, we've been asked to reduce our budget by $2,771,418. Here it is sort of mapped out, scenario 1 and scenario 2. So we have the original ask from 2027, and then what we have to cut from both scenarios. So just what this looks like, sort of taking a step back, right? We had our school committee budget was approved on March 24th. Our last year's budget was $22,794,154. And then we went through our budget. We said, what do we need? A level service budget means what do we need to provide the same level of service, and not adding any positions or, not adding anything extra, same level of service as we had the last year. Our budget came in at $24,969,268.16. So this was an increase of over $2 million. And the increase from 26, so from the year prior, was 9.54%. And now we have 2 scenarios in front of us. Scenario 1 is if the override passes. It's a decrease from our initial budget ask of 3.69%. And then scenario 2, if the override fails, we are decreasing our initial level service ask for 2027 by 11.10%. And this is sort of a graphic, and you'll look at it, but I think, we're looking at, again, sort of the percentages. If you look at our budget, 68% of our budget is personnel. So almost 70% of our entire budget are people. They're the people that run our schools. They're the people that are directly supporting students. Our personnel is 70%. So when we're asked to make cuts to our budget, we have to, it's gonna touch staff because it's such a significant portion. And we don't have a lot of flexibilities. If we look at tuition and utilities and transportation, those are pretty much fixed costs. We don't have a lot of wiggle room in those numbers. So if we look at FY27 and we look at just the personnel line item, for 27, we're just over 17 million. Scenario 1, if the override passes, our personnel line item goes to $16,365,364.60. But if we look at scenario 2 for a failed override, the personnel budget line item is $14,559,604.10. So the impact between the override and an unsuccessful override is hitting the personnel line item by about $2 million. So we're gonna walk through sort of the next steps is if we're gonna give the situation, we're gonna talk about a successful override and the impact on our staffing, program and activities, and district programs and services. And then we're gonna do the same thing as if there's a failed override. We'll talk about staffing, programs and activities, and district programs and services. So we're gonna first talk about successful override, what that looks like, and then the failed. All right, so the successful override, what does this look like for our schools? So a successful override allows Easthampton Public Schools to preserve a majority of current student programming, staffing, athletics, clubs, and supports. At Mountain View, a successful override still requires us to make cuts. We have to come up with $922,000 in cuts. It would eliminate an elementary classroom position, a special education teacher, and a registered nurse. And you'll see an asterisk there. So an asterisk is a position conversion. So we would take somebody who is a licensed educator, and then we would convert that position into a paraprofessional or somebody who is not a fully licensed educator who could do, some of the same responsibilities. So that's what it would look like at Mountain View. At Easthampton High School, a successful override would eliminate or reduce a world language position, 0.5, an English teacher, 1.5, and a special education teacher position by 1. A successful override programs and activities. So we would be able to fund all middle school and high school athletics. And we heard from somebody who talks about at least half of our students participate in sports. So 180 students participated in fall athletics this year, 91 participated in winter athletics, and 156 students participated in spring athletics. So when we talk about athletics, right, there are, sort of two numbers to look at. It costs the district about $160,000 to run sports. The entire sports program costs about $360,000. And some of that revenue is, so the $200,000 are gate receipts and fees that students pay to participate. So it does generate some revenue. It generates about $200,000, but it costs the district in stipends, and athletic administration, field youth officials, et cetera, it costs us about $160,000. So just to give some context for that number, we'd still be able to preserve that with a successful override. We would have to make some reductions. We would eliminate, yes.
I just want, and Julia might have to weigh in on this, or actually, I think Jeff Sealander might be able to help us too. I'm wondering, there's been some questions that are coming about in the worst case scenario where we have to cut these high school athletics. I know that there are guidelines and regulations around MIAA. Is this something that could be replaced by the community, or what are the requirements to try to preserve participation in MIAA athletics?
So there's a lot of things to consider in, preserving sports. Like it would have to be an all or none position for us, because there's Title IX regulations, there are fees that we pay, the athletic trainer stipend, which is, the athletic director stipend, which is contractually obligated in our EEA contract. We also have, so we're very bound by a lot of sort of parameters for that. And to create a school system that is equitable, it would have to be the entire sports program. That would have to be, we'd need to generate $160,000 in order to do it equitably.
The follow-up point is, it's intricately complicated and nearly impossible for a community to try to crowdsource. One might say that your crowdsource revenue could be like taxation, for example. To try to replace the taxation and create a separate crowdsourcing is going to hit a lot of difficulties because of federal law, state law, MIA regulations, et cetera. We have looked into this. We are trying to be creative. We are looking at all options. I'm sorry, Dr. Balch, go ahead.
So we can preserve athletics. We'd have to make some changes. So we have team leader stipends. These are teachers who are running professional development. They're leading their department. We'd have to eliminate those positions. We'd have to eliminate 1 or 2 clubs, and we would do that based on participation, student participation. So the clubs that have, sort of lowest signups, we would look at first. And we're reducing supply line items. We're reducing professional development. We'd reduce summer school options. Not great, because that's where that's for supporting students to get through if they need it. At Mountain View, we'd reduce the following items. Again, those team leader stipends. Those are teachers who are meeting after school. They're giving professional development. They are, basically disseminating information and helping to coach other educators as department leads. And again, we'd have to eliminate clubs. We'd reduce supplies, professional development, the garden stipend, and we'd reduce book and curriculum purchases. Every decision that we made, we tried to look at what is going to have the sort of the smallest impact that we could possibly get, and also to try to look at alternative funding, right? We could maybe apply for additional grants to come up with some of that. But we have applied for every grant. We are actively going after every single grant opportunity. That is one thing we do really well in this district, is to get grants and not for positions. We get grant funding for curriculum purchases for things like the garden to help supplant that money in those budget line items. But we're trying to reduce the impact as much as we can on the classroom. So from the district level, right, we're taking a look at we've talked about transforming the middle school experience. A successful override allows us to continue that. It allows us for world language, the band chorus as scheduled classes. It helps us preserve that STEAM teacher, one at the elementary, and the existing middle school teacher. We can continue with those Compass core classes, that digital literacy, financial literacy, and civics and media literacy. Those things can continue with a successful override. What we would do from the district level is we have to eliminate the late bus. We'd eliminate the NISIP coaching. That's the 3-year coaching program that I'm in for professional development.
Can you pause there, Dr. Balch? When we negotiated a contract with Dr. Balch, that is written into her contract. She has gone above and beyond and has volunteered to remove that additional training and support as a way. Everybody's pitching in. Everybody's making cuts. Continue, Dr. Balch.
So eliminate staff laptops for, we are at the end of some life cycles with some laptops, but we're just going to keep plugging away. We have an incredible tech team that is cobbling laptops together for everybody. We would eliminate our policy project. We're reducing software, any software that, we took a look, right? Is it a want? Is it a need? If it didn't fall into the need category, we had to eliminate it. We have these wireless access points that allow us to connect to the Wi-Fi. They're at the end of the life. We are going to hold off on doing some of those wireless access points. Eliminate our membership to the CES. We are reducing textbooks, curriculum purchases, reducing contract services. That is our partnership with the collaborative. We'd have to reduce that. They do great work with our equity team. Reduce professional development. We'd reduce some tutoring. We'd reduce supplies, and we'd defer network maintenance for as long as we possibly could.
Would you describe this as maybe tightening our belts?
Yes, I think our level service budget did tighten our belts, but we are going to further tighten our belts.
I've seen a lot of chatter on that online. I keep saying that maybe we're not doing that. I think we maybe are.
We are looking at everything, and we did that for our FY27 level service budget. A failed override. So we're going to talk about a failed override now. What this looks like for staffing, programs, activities, and district programs and services. So a failed override, we're looking at staffing now. A failed override at Mountain View. Full day pre-K, 3 positions. These are all elimination or reducing these positions. Full day pre-K, 3 positions. Classroom sections in kindergarten, grade 2, grade 3, grade 5 for a total of 6 positions. Special education teachers, 2 positions. Interventionists, 2 positions. Adjustment counseling, 1. School psychologist, 1 position. Registered nurses, 2 positions. Librarians, 2 positions. Speech and language pathologist, 3 positions. Band, 1 position. Music, 1 position. Mountain View would lose a total of 24 positions. At Easthampton High School, a failed override would eliminate or reduce the following positions. ELA, 1.5. Math, 1 position. Health, 1 position. Technology and engineering, 1 position. World language, 0.5. Early childhood, 1 position. Special education, 2 positions. Librarian, 1 position. Bright programming, 2 positions. If you see, and it's the same caveat, if you see that asterisk there, it would be converting licensed educators into paraprofessional or assistant type roles. This is asking, so for a failed override, programs and activities, we'd no longer be able to fund middle or high school athletics. In addition, the district would no longer be able to fund stipends for the advisors for extracurricular activities and clubs, including programs like drama, band and chorus, National Honor Society, ski club, yearbook, student council, We the People, and there are other additional clubs and activities we didn't list. A failed override for the district. We can continue to do some of those plans with a middle school experience. We would not be able to do world language, STEAM, band, or music. At the district level, we would reduce or eliminate late bus, NISIP coaching, the same things that we would do for a successful override. We'd probably dig a little bit deeper here with some of those. The MASC conference, professional development. We would reduce transportation from McKinney-Vento and foster care.
Can you explain explain to the public what McKinney Vento are?
It's for students that are unhoused. So it's our most vulnerable students. And we just have to look at every line item.
Yeah.
And students with foster care placements need additional transportation sometimes. And
So when you talk about the stakes of the override, meaning people might be out on the streets, some of us already are.
Yeah.
Some of us already are. Okay. Any members of the committee or have questions for Dr. Welsh?
Henry does. What does it mean for half a position? Like one says get rid.
Great question.
that's a good question. So we have somebody who is teaching some world language, so some French. That person would no longer be able to teach that, and then have to be converted to an area within their licensure.
Anyone else have questions?
Is that a question?
Well, it's a question for you. Is it?
It's up to you.
Okay. I'm just wondering, excuse me. So let's say that the override fails, right? The way that this budget is proposed, is this like final? Like these are the cuts and this is the place in which the cuts are going to be made? Like final, like that's it? Or is there going to be any kind of like revision made to that?
It would be up to the school committee, right? This is our proposed.
So the superintendent drafts it, proposes it to us. We would have to approve it. One way or the other, after June 9th, we are gonna have to approve a budget that is different than the one we approved earlier in the spring. Yeah, Sam?
I was just wondering, so when we're looking at the non-override budget, we're looking at eliminating some sections of kindergarten, first and second grade. And I was just wondering if you knew off the top of your head what those class sizes would be?
They would go from, they would be about 23 to 26 kids.
Which right now they're currently
20, 21.
Yeah.
And, in our youngest grades, that's really challenging.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to I just want to clarify for the public, we're asking for questions from the committee. We are going to reopen public speak in just a couple of minutes as soon as the committee has exhausted its questions, just because I see someone's hand raised online, and we are going to get to that public speak again in just a little while. I'm so sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
That's fine. I think my question is simply, are these slides going to be prominently on our website? Where can the public see this information?
Yeah, we will finish the meeting notes and they will be up on our school committee website very soon.
Because I think that this is real. And I think until people see real, there are members of our community who are very caring, but they don't fully understand the impact to our community. And that's all I have to say at this point. It is not a question. I just feel that it is my duty and our duty to make sure that everyone who goes to vote on June 9th know exactly what their vote means. And so I just want to reiterate how important it is that each one of us come out with clarity and that we understand exactly the impact on all of our city. And that's why I asked my question. And I'd also like to say, as a former kindergarten teacher, I cannot even imagine.
Anyone else? Yes, Henry.
When you vote yes, you're saving lives.
Anyone else?
This is not a question.
Take us to church, Bonnie.
This is devastating. This is apocalyptic in terms of our school district. This extraordinary community and the personnel, the people that make every single day a learning environment that truly does save lives every day. Like you had mentioned, Michelle, that it's catastrophic. I mean, I'm gonna go, it's apocalyptic in Easthampton because I don't know what would happen to the students. I don't know where they'll go. I don't know how their needs will be met. And I do know the extraordinary educators who would still be present would do everything in their capacity to fulfill roles that they're not even necessarily equipped to fill. And many of you are here, would be trying. It's devastating. This is really hard information. And I really appreciate the clarity, Michelle. Like, this is what we need to hear. We need to know what we're talking about when we're asking for an override vote to be yes. And it is to preserve, really, our city. And we're talking specifically about schools. It is the largest cut, and it would sever our school district. I mean, I think at some point when we were in communication about this, someone said it would literally gut our school district. Mm-hmm. And it is absolutely true. These beautiful buildings, these commitments that we've made to the future would be really gutted. And so if you're feeling that feeling, you are absolutely right. You're feeling it, and you're carrying this weight every day. And as a city, we will be carrying this decision into the future for decades to come if we don't vote yes. I'm going to be very clear in terms of what happens in the school district. That's all I have to say for now. But I want to also, well, there's one other thing I want to say. You have all been so eloquent and passionate. Every day you're waking up with this, and I want you to know that every day we're waking up with this. This is our community. You are the people that we entrust to care for our children and our future. That's a very powerful thing. And having someone who's a 10th grader in the high school with many dreams, those dreams have been fostered because of the extraordinary gifts of Easthampton School District, truly. This is a really hard place that we've come to. And we need every single voice to get out there and let people know what it really means. A lot of people are not taking us seriously. I mean, I sit on the finance committee, and we had an incredible budget. The work that went into that budget, even though it was level services, we knew that we could get through and have a future. These cuts, even with the override passing, are devastating. I think Sam mentioned, wow, we're talking almost 1 million now. Yeah. That was not what we were thinking even a couple weeks ago. We were thinking 500,000, and that was devastating. Yeah. So we are really in a time, and as a community, I am very hopeful. I truly believe we can come together. I truly believe that. I tend to be, a little bit of a optimist around certain things because I believe in the best of people, always. And we need every voice to be out there. Thank you so much, Michelle, for these this is really your first year in our district.
Yes, Linda.
I didn't know whether this was the time, but Bonnie, you led me there, so I'm just going to say it. I ran, when I first ran for school committee, this is my second term, I ran because I believe that we are a community. I believe in community. It's probably I'm a community. I'm a big fan of people. People working together, people loving each other, people caring for each other. I believe we all work in this community. Everybody in this community that lives here is a part of that community. There are members out there that are actively hoping that this fails. I want them to fully understand what that will mean to their community. I came here tonight and it's heavy. And I was uplifted by each one of you. And I said when I quickly dashed in to eat the Taco Bell that my colleague brought for me, because we are a really caring group of people here. And I said, I don't think I've ever been prouder to sit in a room in my life. And I mean that. I don't know what's going to happen on June 9th. I wish we all did. But I know that I truly believe that if it is not Easthampton, if it is not this beautiful community that I call home, after coming from the Midwest and living in other areas of New England and coming here for home about 6 or 7 years ago, I could speak as a grandparent whose granddaughter is sitting out here who entered sports to make friends. I think many of you in this room know that person. She's now running at Mount Holyoke at a great school doing this because the educators in this room who I can look right in the eyes believed in her, and this community believed in her, and I am going to believe in this community because that's the only choice that I'm given.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Megan, Mayor, go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you. So if you had told me a year ago that I would be sitting here doing this right now, I would not believe you at all. As you know, someone who's been an educator my entire career and is a third generation educator, this is weighs pretty heavy, especially with my kids. You know, all of them went to Easthampton schools, and you know, they had amazing successes and challenges and experiences. And, you know, I think for me, I just want to say a couple things. I mean, I appreciate everybody speaking and being so forthright with your experience. And it makes me really proud and happy to be a part of this community, to be a part of the school committee. You know, I just want to address a couple of the things I think are important. You know, some people mentioned in their remarks about fear mongering, and that is what the opposition is going to say that we're doing with this. And this is not fear mongering. This is reality. And these are real people, real positions, real impact on our community. And I just want to encourage everybody to keep letting people know this is not fear mongering. Number one. And number two, you know, I think it's hard to, you know, municipal finance is this kind of beast that is not super easy to understand. You know, when we look at long-term projections for the city, $8.5 million is really kind of what we need to get us on a super stable track. And we had to make the decision that ask was probably too much for Easthampton. And so that's why we asked for 6.9. And that's why you're seeing if the override passes, there still has to be sacrifice. And, you know, and it's not just the schools. The schools are the biggest part of the municipal budget. It's 52% when you take everything into account. And so that's a big part. So when you see the impact on schools being what it is, you have to understand the 52%, when you have to hit a certain number, needs to be, taken. And if I could wave a wand and preserve the school's services and not ask for an override and find other areas of waste in the city, I would do that. It's impossible. It doesn't, you could be a magician and the most creative person in the world. You can't find $2.7 million just floating around, especially when you look at the size of other departments in the city. It's like 2 people, and there are a lot of things that you just can't cut because they're critical for the operation of the city. And so, I have this really unique perspective looking at all of the departments and having this very intimate connection to what's happening right now. And it's really heavy. It's really heavy because, the cuts are going to go beyond the schools as well. And it's difficult. And so if people have ideas on how we can not cut from the schools without doing an override, I am so open to hearing those ideas. But I don't think that they exist because we've been working really hard to try to be as creative as possible. So that's why I think I appreciate this presentation, because people have been saying, why don't you say what is going to be cut? And we need to have the real hard numbers from the departments that are going to have to make these really critical decisions. I can't just make something up. And so now those numbers are out there. Now we have that, and now we can take that and show people what the impact is going to be. And I think that's going to be all of us needing to show everybody in our community what this means, because it's catastrophic.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
Megan, would you like to say anything? I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just, I don't have anything profound to say. I just really am grateful to the members of the committee who have worked really hard on preparing these 2 versions of the budget, and thank you to Dr. Balch. It has been just a devastating month to experience this great joy of having a baby and bringing a baby home that will eventually go through our school system, at the same time that all of our hard work that we have put in over the past 6, 8, 9 months on our budget just fell apart underneath us. And I just want the folks who are in the room and who have showed up to this meeting and other meetings talking about the impacts it's going to have on your classroom and on your students and on your jobs and your lives. Just as my colleagues have said, we just take it so seriously. We're devastated. I feel bad even saying that. It's not about me and my devastation with what's going on here. But we're just, I'm grateful to those who, when you are in this position, you're still showing up and teaching our kids every day and doing the amazing work that you do. I think I just want to rewatch what Bonnie and my colleagues have said. I'm sorry to, as the chair of the finance committee, not in we have any risk, this came about for anything that any one particular person has done or any one situation. Just sorry in general that this is happening.
Thank you, Megan. Sam?
I was actually just thinking, Megan, we talked a lot this school year about our budget baby, which was due at around the same time as your actual baby, and all of the potential worst case scenarios that could happen, and none of them were this. And I really appreciate Dr. Balch and your whole team the amount of work, I don't know that people in the public really realize, like when you put together a school district budget, it's lots and lots and lots of moving parts, and you kind of knock one thing over and you have to pick up a whole bunch of other things. And it takes a long time to put these budgets together. And so it's not nothing to turn around and say, all right, take this much money out of it. So I appreciate the time that you've put and how specific the plans that we have are, because I think the public has been asking, and they have a right to know kind of what does this really look like. We want people to make an informed choice. From my perspective, this is what it looks like when we decide that we're no longer going to have a public school district, to be honest. It's just we're going to move to a model where we tuition out all of our students, and that is the direction we're going if we don't pass this override. And I don't think that that's fear-mongering. You can catch me on tape saying that exact same thing for the last 3 years about various options that we've had. I really do feel like this is the beginning, like could be the beginning of the end of public education in general right now in the historical moment we're living in. But we have a chance to save it. And every time we've had that opportunity in the past, we've done it. And so I think we can do it again. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight and for speaking. And I have one child who's a fourth grader, and I think I was counting. I think like all but one member of his IEP team are being laid off, and that's like this. I don't want to talk too much about him because it's, I want to respect his privacy, but he has a lot of complex needs, and I don't really know what he does during the day. And he can't really tell me, and never has, and maybe won't. I know what I know because of the people who have helped him become who he is. And I can't imagine him coming back next year and not having that team, not having any of those people who really get him.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. Everything that you've done has been, the difference that you've made has been real.
Yeah.
And we're very lucky to have you all, and I'm so sorry.
Anyone else? Walter?
So I just want to say that it is like silent right now, and I think that, it's because people are talking and sharing, and I have just so many thoughts that I could say, but I also think that everybody here and watching at home, and if you're not watching and you read this later, should be at a loss for words, and I think it's just absurd. Like, I think it's absolutely absurd and ridiculous, and, and I think we all do, but I just want to address that sense between, I don't know when the last meeting was, I think it was May 12th, so 2 weeks ago. There has just been this ongoing rhetoric online, everywhere. People are talking, and, that people here are corrupt and nefarious, and it has to stop because you know what? Over 50 municipalities across the Commonwealth are facing the same exact situation. 57 municipalities. So if all of them are corrupt, I don't know. I mean, just shut the whole thing down, truly. But what I'm, really, I'm just trying to say now, that this is, and if they want to talk about whatever, you have seen all of these people. I think we spent, an hour and a half listening to people come up here and pour their hearts out at the podium, and the tears were flowing. Everybody, because it's very upsetting. It is. It's very upsetting. And so if anybody still thinks that, there's shady business or whatever going on, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And now the information is out, and I think that everybody should read it. Everybody should read it because they're always talking about, nowadays the kids in school can't do this and the kids can't do this. Well, you know what? The kids aren't just looking at some of the stuff that's coming from the failed override scenario. Just from the high school standpoint, I can't speak too much from the middle school. I think all of the reimagining the middle school experience is exceptional, and I think that all of the work that's been done is fantastic. But just thinking about your basic, your basic high school experience, school spirit is a big one, right? And we want people to be going to schools that they're proud to be in. And one of, some of those things that we talk about a lot, right? Like the reason I'm here is because it's to give updates to the school committee and the community and just everybody about, what we're up to and all of like the positive things that we're doing. That's all going to disappear should the override fail. And I think that needs to be very clear because it's through all of these extracurriculars and things that it is very true that it is the only reason people come to school for in some cases. And as I said at the last meeting, if you knew me in middle school, it was a freaking disaster. And you know what? And I'm sitting here right now and I truly, I think that I'm very blessed to have this opportunity to be here. It would be really nice if we can continue this work because we have a very bright path ahead. But I also think that understanding the weight of this decision is so crucial because I didn't see anything about AP classes getting cut or maybe the writing was too small. But in AP US history at the end of the course, your final exam is local history. So in 10 years, what's their local history project gonna be on? How they had $8 million in debt to the city and all of this gets shut down and we just have, because you know what? All of the taxpayers, y'all in the city, the residents are going to pay for it in one way or another. You're going to pay for it in one way or another because you know what? When people are school of choice and out and leaving the district, the difference in tuition, yada, 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 choice, they talked about that all at the last meeting. I suggest that everybody also go and watch that as well. But additionally to that, outside of the school concerns, it's already been talked about, but I don't think that you can repeat it enough. The fire department, everybody's homeowner's insurance is about to go up, okay? It's just, I think that we all need to, channel our inner Miss Brown and do something that our future selves will thank us for and support the override. Thank you.
Wow. So Exhibit A on the type of critical thinking that Easthampton Public Schools can create. Thanks, Walter.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you all. I know this is a very difficult presentation. It was the hardest presentation I have ever had to put together. And I thank you all so much. I'm so proud to be here. I'm so proud to work alongside each and every one of you. And it's been an incredible year. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm so grateful to continue this work. And I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all of the support you give our students every day. And you keep showing up every single day. And I know it's been hard, but thank you all so much.
Thank you. Woof. Okay. I just want to point out to the public that of all the folks that spoke earlier today, I didn't hear anger, I didn't hear rage, I didn't hear blame. I heard a series of people who work in public education come to that microphone and nearly to a person open with the words, I'm grateful, I'm honored, I'm privileged to be here, to work here, to support your children. These people are not your enemies, they're your neighbors, they need your support. So watch your mouths when you're talking online about my teachers and my staff and my administrators. I want to go all the way back to pre-K to Patty Brousseau, to Michelle George, to Jane LaPointe, to Mary St. George, who saved my children, and I will owe them forever. And I and my colleagues will fight with the last ounce of breath we have to protect and defend the students in this district and the people who support them. Override, no override, we will work and we will be here, okay? Let's hope it's an override. Let's hope it's an override. Anyone else have thoughts they want to share? Because we're going to wrap this bad boy up. Yeah, go to the podium. Yes, absolutely.
Hi, Jessica Askew. I'm the BCBA for the district. I'm the only BCBA for the district, so my caseload goes from preschool all the way through to the high school, and I love my job. I absolutely love my job. I love who I work with. Dr. Balch, could you help the public understand what special ed, like we just heard 21 kids in a class to 26 kids in a class. When we reduce, if the override does not pass, by 4 special ed students, how many of those students then are left, like what does the caseloads become?
Consent of the chair, you can answer that. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Stay right where you are. Go ahead.
So it would depend on the classroom, but I think, we're with less support in our classrooms, in higher student enrollments, there will be less attention and support on our students. We know that. We have about 400 special education students that need support in this district. And we saw reductions across the board. So less special education educators, larger classrooms, less support for those students, more different needs. So we group students, based on needs in classrooms, and we may not be able to do that as well with those higher numbers.
Thank you. We all already knew, we just needed the public to really understand that we show up for these special ed babies every day, and these teachers collaborate every day, and when there are less of us, there will be less time to do that, because when they need us, and that's where we're gonna have to dedicate our time. So thank you for your transparency.
Was that rock, paper, scissors?
That's how you solve problems, right? Hi, I'm Carrie Goldenberg, and I'm one of the district occupational therapists. And I support preschool, middle school, and high school students, and a little sprinkle of elementary too. Across the district, I'm one of 9 related service providers. We are the occupational therapist, the physical therapist, and the speech therapist who support students receiving special ed, and also we support tiered interventions to reduce students needing special ed. Within the past 2 weeks, 5 of 9 of our team members have had their jobs non-renewed or impacted by the reduction in force. This is a devastating cut to a team of highly experienced and collaborative related service providers and the services that we provide to students and on behalf of students. It's also extremely difficult to imagine any reduction in special education that doesn't impact the right to learn of all students. So I have 2 questions given your proposal here, or your 2 scenarios. Can you expand on the details of your plans to transition professionals on the Unit A contract to paraprofessionals or teachers?
Is that something you can divulge at have we?
There's a little asterisk and what that actually
I know what
means.
you're referring to. I don't know if we have the fine detail yet. So can you speak to that yet?
So for some of those positions, it would be a conversion from a registered nurse to an LPN. It would be a conversion from a speech and language pathologist to a speech and language pathology assistant. It would be from a special education teacher to a para-educator position.
Okay, and then can you expand on the details, the explicit details of what your reorganization of special ed delivery at Mountain View School and Easthampton High School actually is?
I can't go into detail. I don't have the org chart in front of me, but
I think parents have a right to know how their program is going to be impacted.
I agree, and we will get as much information out to families as we can. And we still don't have finalized program numbers, which we hope to have by the end of the year.
And I really appreciate your warmth and all the passion from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Hi, I'm Dave Borgard. I'm the high school special education coordinator. I've been in the district for about 10 years, and I've been teaching and working in education for approximately 20 years. So I had a prepared statement, but I'm still trying to get my head around the full scope of the cuts that were listed here tonight. Just from my own experience working at the high school, seeing 2 special education teachers cut, and knowing the workload that they have currently with the numbers that we have in the department, and trying to understand how we will be able to continue to service these students and meet the legal obligation of providing a free, appropriate public education to them. I really worry that cutting special education staff will mean that we won't be able to effectively educate them here in Easthampton. That we will have to pay more to send them out of district. Students that want to be here, that because we don't have the staff, we're going to pay maybe $100,000 per kid to send them somewhere else.
Upwards.
Absolutely. So it's really disheartening to see what may come to pass. Because it's a struggle to get creative at the high school now to effectively educate students that have a wide variety of needs. So I'm hopeful for the override, but I really worry about what's going to happen to our students. Thank you.
Hi, good evening. My name's Jeff Sealander. I'm a lifelong resident of Easthampton, went through the Easthampton schools and spent my career as an educator working for the Easthampton School Department. What I'm asking you to do, I guess is the best way to do this, is to please, one of the things that I heard tonight, and I had heard it just in passing in the community over the past week or so, that one of the decisions, should the override not pass, is that in terms of athletics, it was going to be an all or nothing decision. I'm encouraging you to not dig your heels in too deeply on that one, to not carve that in stone anywhere. I think that should we face the worst case scenario, there are ways that we can look at things. Obviously, the interscholastic athletic teams would not be what we hope they would be, but I don't think it has to be an all or nothing. And I do believe that there is enough support in this community. The Madam Chairperson made reference to some creative thinking along the way, and I would ask that you leave that decision at least open to discussion depending on the outcome over the override, and not have it be an all or nothing. Hopefully it would never get to that point. Thank you.
Jeff, you can say, I'm going to respond to that at the consent of the chair. I think we're put in an impossible position. We're hearing from all these groups, support, drama,
Understood.
Music, arts, special educators.
As you should.
Athletics,
As
right.
you should.
I don't want to cut a single sport. I don't want to cut a single teacher. I don't want to cut a single music program. I want the public to understand that yes, there are portions of this community that are incredibly generous. There are portions of this community that raised $10,000 for a family that lost their father. Also, if this override doesn't pass, we are not going to have enough fingers to stick in the dam. People are going to have to come up with $3 million to donate to us to preserve everything that we saw here tonight. And I think we can raise some of that, but we can't raise all of it. And so, I'm with you. Nothing is set in stone, but I don't want the public to get the wrong idea. I might be able to save my favorite thing.
Well, and the other, I think other things that we want to make sure that the public understands, that you mentioned that the school department budget for interscholastic athletics is $160,000. And talking to some people from that work for the school department, I just asked over the past week what the average cost of an out-of-district student, a school choice student would be. And the number that was thrown around a little bit was roughly $20,000. Well, at $160,000, that's 8 kids. And if we were to eliminate all sports, I would bet $3 million that we'll lose more than 8 kids.
I agree. I think it's an avalanche, Jeff.
So again, I'm not here to question anybody's decision, other than to say, please keep an open mind about how creative this community can be, not only for athletics, but for all of our extracurriculars.
And we want to balance that with equity too, right? We don't just want the most popular things, we've got to try.
I heard the superintendent mention Title IX, and I mean, obviously Title IX is a concern, but Title IX's been a concern every time we've added sports too, to try to maintain that balance. So I think as we keep an eye on that when we're adding sports, if we have to look at eliminating sports, we obviously would have to keep a close watch on that. But so thank you just for your
Thank you so much for coming out of your way. Thank you. Jeff, it's like old home day. When I first started in 2013, were you still athletic director? Anyone else interested in sharing thoughts? Ms. Liddy? Yes? Just do it, Jean. Just do it.
Yeah. I'm Jean Libby. I'm the family engagement coordinator for the school district. I'm also the parent of a middle schooler. But what I actually want to talk about is I have a future Easthampton Public School student. My youngest daughter is 2.5 years old. And in thinking about preschool cuts, along with everything, I am angry. Laura, or Madam Chair, when you said earlier.
I think it's midnight, Jean.
Everybody came up here with such grace, and thank you so much, everybody, for sharing what you have to say. But I'm really, really pissed off. I'm so angry that we're in this situation, to nobody's fault. I'm angry that we have to stand here for 3 hours to hear the worst news of our lives, and to have people in our community that are out there saying that we're trying to pull some fast one on them. The fast one is on us. I've been working here for 5 years, and I've seen this district through COVID. My older daughter was a kindergartner when they shut down school, and what an amazing, it was horrible, but it was an amazing thing to see our teachers, our principals, our superintendent come together, and we made it happen. It was incredible at a time when our community couldn't have been more torn apart. It was a horrible time, and we came through it. We've built since then, and we have a new superintendent with awesome ideas, an incredible way of revitalizing and amplifying all of the stuff that is already going well and making it even better. And we've been able to get families to participate in their kids' education and understand what the stakes are here. So I'm talking to our committee, but also to all of the families in Easthampton who take our school district for granted. But don't forget that we got ourselves through COVID. We've been through a lot of change with our superintendents, but we're at the precipice. I'm pissed off because we were just about to blow the lid off of this place. We were so close to making this place absolutely incredible. It will stay incredible. But in order to really make this place wonderful for the future kids of Easthampton, my 2.5-year-old is gonna have a different experience than her older sister, depending on how this override goes. And I don't know yet if she needs special education services and supports. I don't know yet if that little toddler wants to play the trumpet or be a cheerleader or go play on softball team. I don't know. And those opportunities are going to be taken away from her if we don't pass this override. So I'm pissed, and I'm going to fight all the way to the end of June 9th to make this happen. It has to pass. Otherwise, Easthampton is not the Easthampton that we're all so proud of right now.
Mary Frank, go right ahead, and then Mary Frankie, I see you've raised your hand. Give us just a second. We have one person in line. Go ahead.
So I spoke in the beginning about
Kelly.
Kelly Rodriguez.
Yes.
Sorry.
No. I was trying to make sure I remembered your name correctly.
I'm one of the members of the SEL team. I started at Maple, and I was a school psych and counselor. We did it all, and I've learned so much being in this district under Judy, and going to my 20s and my 30s, and now I have my own kids, and one's neurodiverse, and it's made me a better evaluator and a better collaborator, and just a better part of the SEL team to be there for the parents and the students and teachers. And I just think teachers have always done more with less because there were always cuts, but this cut is so drastic. And I think the rhetoric online is so upsetting because teachers have master's degrees. Some of them have doctorates. I sit in an office with 2 people with doctorates, and some of the rhetoric is so insulting, so insulting. I have an advanced degree and a master's degree, and I choose to come to Easthampton because I love the kids, I love the staff, and I love living here, and I still love working here. And those numbers are heartbreaking because I think I'm literally gonna be a test junkie. I won't be at first grade lunch every day checking in on kids. Like, you go to first grade, you have a kid in first grade, you say, who's Miss R? Oh, she's at lunch talking every table. There's so many teachers that do that and make the connection, and especially our neurodiverse learners, like, it matters so much more for kids who can't express themselves in the appropriate ways. And so those numbers are heartbreaking, and I really hope the public can see that we're going backwards if we don't pass that override. And I don't know how many veteran staff and mental health workers like me can watch kids suffer. Because ultimately, like, a lot of us adults will find a job, but the kids are gonna suffer, and I don't wanna do that to them. I love this community, I love this school, and that's the hard part, is your kids are suffering. So yeah, I hope the town, we can vote yes on the override. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Mary, do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself? Mary, did you accidentally raise a hand?
No, she wants to talk.
Yeah. Mary, can you hear me? Oh, that feels weird. Any point?
I can call her. We're all mixing Frankie.
Anyone else want to buy Mary a minute at the podium?
She said her computer's not working well.
Okay, I also see 2 MVS. And I see another one here, it just says MVS teacher, if you want to go ahead and speak.
That's me. Hi.
Go ahead.
So my name is Jessica Falcone, and I just wanted to say I am a Mountain View School teacher. I teach special education, but I also have a current preschooler and I have a 4th grader. And I just wanted to say that I am very thankful to everyone who has spoken tonight. I'm not from Easthampton originally. I'm from New York. I'm from the Bronx. And when I chose to move so far away from my family, because I don't have anyone here, this community was amazing. My oldest daughter is a student who suffered a lot of anxiety, and these beautiful people who I work with have helped her in so many ways when I could not be there. And I have to say that the reason why I was okay leaving my parents and my sister and everyone behind and staying here with both of my kids was because I knew that when I moved to Easthampton, I had found a home, and I trust every single one of the educators in this building with my girls. It makes me very sad to see the numbers that we would lose at MVS and at the high school. As someone who has a child currently in the preschool program, she's learning so much, and they are beautiful individuals, and they work so hard with such little people and with so little resources. And I know it's that way all the way through the high school. Working really hard to get people to rally and to vote yes at this override. I've met so many people all the way through into the high school building, and I have to say that this community is beautiful, and I appreciate how much everyone is doing. And I just wanted to echo that everyone is very right when they say we will do the best that we can to be there for these kids. But it is very scary to see what could happen if the override doesn't pass. And I'm very grateful to you too, Dr. Balch, because this is your first year with us, and what a storm to weather with us. So I also appreciate you for being the person who's weathering this with us.
Well
Thank
said.
you.
Well said. Mary, are you there?
She said her computer is not working and she apologizes.
Okay, well, Mary, write me an email and I'll read it out, I don't know, whatever we can do. Yeah, I want to hear from Mary. Anyone else? I will tell you that once we're closing public speak, we're gonna close the meeting. Okay. All right, so seeing no further interest, we are gonna close public speak. We are not gonna do a policy, finance, or CES updates, I mean. Our next meeting is June 11th. It was supposed to be June 9th, and we postponed it 2 days.
We're all gonna be busy that day.
Can I just make one quick statement?
Go right ahead, Linda.
When I arrived here a little bit early, there were quite a few people standing outside of 50 Pace and with vote no signs. I just wanted it noted that not one of those people walked in tonight to make any statement about why they were voting no. I just want that noted, that I saw, I would say approximately 20 people. I did not count, but not one of them walked in tonight to hear this presentation and to get the information that I feel is necessary in order to make an informed decision.
Or to make a counter argument.
Or to make a counter argument. And I just felt that it's important for me to sit here as a school committee member to make that noted on record tonight.
Thank you, Linda. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Sam. We're gonna roll call out Megan.
She doesn't want to talk.
Sorry, I tried to do one-handed. Good night.
Good night, Gemma.
Good night, Gemma.
And make budget baby.
Bonnie.
Good night.
I'm gonna skip over you, sir, because you don't vote. Linda?
Yes.
Good night and thank you.
Sam?
Good night.
Mayor?
Good night.
Thank you all so much for being so vulnerable and so articulate. And thank you for everything that you do and will continue to do. Good night, Easthampton.